Hello, how are you doing today? And it is Leky, right? Because I saw on your
Yes,
website. It's not
Lecky.
Leaky, Leky.
Not Leaky, it's Lecky. People will call me Leaky sometimes.
Where did you come up with the name Leky?
um, it's actually a nickname my friend came up with.
Hmm.
Um, she would just call me Lecky, and um, I was like, you know what? I could roll with that as like an internet name, and so I did.
Was there actually like any connection whatsoever to your actual life that would make this name make sense, or did she just scrabble it together in the moment?
I have a nickname I go by in real life. It's Lexi, but everybody like everybody calls me Lexi, and but that's not my real name. And then she was like, "I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna call you Lecky."
Get that one different friend, but you need him, right? Because now you're have a
Yeah.
whole character and everything, and it's all based around Lecky.
Yes.
That's why we have weird friends. I'm the weird friend for most other people. You don't randomly start cold calling people on the internet asking for interviews unless you're weird.
I think it's delightful.
I Delightful is a much nicer way of putting weird. You're not weird, you're delightful.
You're not weird. You're just a little different.
A little different. I'm just saying, I've never met anybody else like you. You're just a little different though. Like, oh, thank you so much. So you do voice acting and streaming. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So what how did you get into that?
Uh, Voice acting actually came first. I watched a lot of cartoons um when I was a teenager, and I was like, these this is so cool. And we I watched Amphibia with my mom, and I was like, these actors, like, I love the voices and everything. Like, and I thought about wanting to do that because I thought it'd be cool if I could like help bring a character to life and like be a part of something. So I just started like practicing for a couple of years, and then I found Casting Call, and then yeah, I've just been looking for work.
The I always find that finding places to put yourself out there are the hardest part for like professional level, you know? Because you can put
Yeah,
something on like YouTube and then you can look up, hey, where do I get jobs doing this? But finding reputable websites that actually have people showing up to post jobs is a really hard sometimes.
it is.
How
There's
did
a
you
special.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, sorry. It's especially difficult because like sometimes you'll find something that's like really cool. You're like, I want to be part of this, and they're not looking for like, for me, it's like mainly voices. Uh, so it's like, oh, we don't need anyone like who's a high pitched female, and I'm like, oh, dang it.
I'm trying to think what I guess whenever you started voice acting, did you initially have characters in mind that you wanted to do, or you're like, I want to do everything, and then found out like, oh, there's actually like limited options depending on just your natural voice, you know?
Yeah, when looking for a part, I try to look for something that, like, if they want a female, like if they want like a young female, then I'll most likely just shoot my shot for those parts. Even if they have like medium range listed, which sometimes they do, I'll still try to go for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I look for things that I think will interest me and go well, and I shoot my shot.
That's fun. Are there Have you like applied for a job and then been like, I actually hope I don't make this job?
Uh, no, I don't know. Maybe I don't think so. I usually I like to look at what I'm applying for before I apply, because there have been times where I've applied for something and then it immediately gets canceled as soon as people are cast, and just like, oh no.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I once applied for a job and it was one that I didn't have like proper training for, but they were like, here's all the software and stuff. If you can learn it and then show that you know it, we'd actually be interested in hiring you. And so I looked at it, and the software was really fun to use. It was like designing cabinets and stuff, and I was like, I actually really like this. And so I learned the software, and then came in and was like, hey, look, I know what to do. They're like, that sounds great. And then they said, can you come in on the first day of January of that year? I'm like, absolutely. So this was like New Year's resolution. I was getting out of a job I hated and going into a job that I was really excited for. And then I came in on the first day that they told me to arrive, and they went, who are you? And I was like, what do you mean, who am I? I'm the guy that you told to come in. And they're like, oh, did you sign a contract or something? Because I was talking with the receptionist, and I was like, no. They're like, we don't have any records of you. So I went into the building, talked to the people, was told to start on January 1st, and then they canceled it and didn't send an email or anything. It sucked.
That's evil. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
And I was so excited. Now I've got the job I've currently got, which, it allows me to have money and free time and stuff, but just having things get dropped on you whenever you're like all set, I know what that feels like, and man, it sucks.
It does. It really does.
How many performances have you done so far? Is it something that you consider easy to get into, or is it, just kind of difficult and you're just always shooting in the dark?
Um, it's kind of a shot in the dark. It it can, like, honestly, anyone can be a voice actor. Um, you don't need to have like a recognizable voice because there's some things that people want that aren't necessarily like, how do I describe this? Like they want you. They don't want
Hmm.
you like pretending to be like sound like an anime character or like famous. They want your voice, and you can do impressions if they need it, but you know.
Do you like
um,
doing impressions, or do you like just using your own voice?
I don't think I'm good at impressions. I like using my voice, but if someone needs me to like speak in a lower pitch or a higher pitch, then I can like very easily.
I guess this is a fun one. So I've heard some voice actors be like, my favorite thing to do is to be doing fight scenes because it's just fun to make all the grunting noises and just make it as ridiculous as possible. And then other people will be like, I love playing these weird golem-like characters because you can just do absolutely insane things. What kind of characters have you enjoyed playing so far?
Um, I haven't actually done a lot. I'm a beginner, really, but
Well, this is just
um,
like, what do you like doing whenever you're practicing on your own, whenever you're watching another movie? Whose lines are you copying in the show whenever you watch it?
well, I kind of stick to characters that resonate with me or like what I'm capable of. There's a lot of characters. Well, I feel like it's obvious. I stutter a lot. I stammer over my words.
Mm.
I'm not a very good speaker, but I do I do like to voice like awkwardish characters and stuff. I do have a few roles where I'm like these insane characters, so I'm like screaming or like I have like a more sinister, higher pitched voice.
Whenever you say insane, are you like the villain or just crazy?
um, well, in the role that I have now, it's both. Like, there's this role I have for this like Roblox animated series, and I play as this just insane demon chick, and she's a bad guy.
Is that like a series that's already has some episodes out, or is it like a secret project?
It's not out yet. They're still working on it.
All right, I'm
It's a
assuming you're not under NDA, but I don't know if you can talk about it, so we can move
I'm
on.
not, but we can move on.
Hmm. So I found you from Jin, from the princess who forges the sun. How did you find that job, and what was working on that like? Because stop motion takes a long time to get done, so I know that some people will do the voices very early for certain animated projects, and then way later down the line actually get to see their work be done in a
Yeah.
film. So how was that?
Um, So I found the casting call for the characters on that website, Casting Call Club.
Hmm.
Uh, Jin's art just like popped out to me. I was like,
It's
"Whoa!"
very bright.
Like it is. It's beautiful. I've never seen anything like this on this website. I have to try to get in. So like I saw that there was the princess. My voice didn't fit the other two characters, so I was like, "This is my shot. I gotta do this." So I shot my shot. I got in. I was so excited. I like started cheering and stuff. Um, Working on it, I did get to see like I didn't realize it was stop motion at first. I'll be so honest.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll also be
Esper.
honest. When I saw it, I thought he was using the same animation stuff that they used for the Lego Movie because
Oh,
of how those
I
two have
thought it.
merged.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Blender thing, honestly. Like, but yeah, when it came out, I was like, I like checked his Instagram. I was like, this was paper? What? I was so shocked. Yeah, working with Jin was amazing. Jin's super awesome and kind. I got sent like a unfinished version of the film. Like the
Mm.
beginning was done, but the rest was like drawings, and it was Jin like speaking for the characters so we could get like the tones and stuff correct. So I just recorded like a few takes each for each line and then sent them to Jin, and that was it for me.
It's a very simplistic. Have you? Is that normally how it goes, or do you normally do like a live stream with a acting director of sorts?
No, it's usually just like you you audition. If they pick you, then they get in contact. Sometimes it's just you talking to the director. Sometimes it's in like a group chat or it's in a Discord server, but they give you the script and you record the lines, you send them in, and you're done.
That's pretty nice. Is this
Yeah.
something that you're like, I want this to be a career path, or for you, is it just you just love it and that's you're just gonna keep doing it no matter what?
Um, if I could make this into a career, that'd be awesome. Right now, I'm just doing it for fun, though.
That's good. It's always an interesting thing. So let me say, and for me, right? It's like, why am I doing this? I started doing this because I was like, if if I want to continue living, what do I need to do? And I was like, I need to create something because if I'm not creating something, I kind of don't see the point of my existence.
Mm.
So I was like, I have to do this, and whether or not it becomes a job is a separate thing entirely. But if I'm not doing it, then I don't know what I'd be doing with myself. And so, to an extent, I was like, well, what if this mentality and drive is the kind of thing that the successful people have in the creative industries? It's that
Yeah.
if I don't do this, I'd rather just cease existing, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have that similar mentality, or are you just like happy go
Kind of.
lucky kind of?
I I have like there's always things that are like, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this." And for the longest time, I just was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be good at this, so I'll just try a little bit, but at the first sign of failure, I'm out of here." But yeah, there was just a point in my life where I'm like, "No, I got to just keep trying. I can't stop here." Like cuz like you said, like why would I be here if I'm not going to like try to do what I want to do?
Yeah. What are
So,
all the? Oh, sorry. Continue.
oh, no, you're all good. I was just like, yeah. So I just started trying and trying more
Just doing.
to keep doing what I like.
Is is it like voice acting the thing, or do you have more things outside of it that you're
I
wanting to do?
have I have a lot of things.
You have a lot of
Um,
things.
yeah,
We all do.
mainly my main thing right now is streaming because I like interacting with my community and playing stuff with them, and I also draw.
That's nice. So do you like? you do drawing streams, or you like split up what the stream does?
Um, kind of. I haven't actually done any art streams yet, but I do plan
Oh.
to next month because of a little internet thing called Art Fight.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of Art Fight before. What's that?
So it's really fun. It's like a team game. Every every July, um, for a full month, they'll have teams, and you get to choose which team you're on based on the theme. And you have characters uploaded, and you attack the other team by drawing their characters. So it's like an art gifting game, and then the team with the most points wins.
That's pretty fun. I like the art gifting. How do you get points? Do the people rate how much they do or don't like the art that you
Um,
handed back to them?
no,
Very judgmental
it's
game, you know?
yeah, it's dependent on like details and stuff. Like you could like draw like a character with no shading, just like color, and that'd probably not give a lot of points. One of my friends spent the entire month like drawing and working on one attack, which is just a whole animation, and it got like 900 points. I was like, what?
Is there a place to? Is there like a YouTube channel called Art Fight, or where is that found?
They have a website, but they do have social medias.
And it's just called Art Fight for all of it?
Yep.
Cool. How did you find Art Fight?
My friend, the one who came up with the name Leky, funnily enough, she showed it to me. She was like, some of my online friends are participating in this. You should get on it. And I was like, okay, this looks fun.
Hooray for weird friends again.
Yes.
I do you have the same issue that I have? I find that I have all of these ideas that I want to be doing and creating, but I'm actually really bad at figuring out how to start or get connected with communities that do these things.
I also have that issue.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish I had a secretary or something, and I was just like, I have this idea. Can you just solve every problem for me so I can just stay on the singular idea and not have to spread my
That's so
wings at all?
real. Yeah, I feel that so much, dude. Like, especially with voice acting and acting, because
Hmm.
I have taken like an on-camera acting class before, but like looking for actual on-camera parts is so difficult, especially when you're not like in Los Angeles or New York. Like, it's so difficult.
Yeah, my number one thing is I'm just like, well, I guess I could find a manager or something, but then you just try Googling, like managers for talent or something like that, and then you just get loads of results. And then you look at their websites and you're like, I don't even see a contact form on the website.
Yes.
So it's like,
Or I
what?
like
Yes, there you go.
I like to also like I like to look up like I don't know how to describe it. Like I'll add like Reddit to the end of some of my searches to see if people on Reddit or other websites have talked about these people, and they're like, yeah, you don't wanna contact this person. They're a scammer, and I'm like, no.
It looks so good. Everything they promised is what I wanted.
Real.
What from the shows that you used to watch that you were all excited about, if you were an actor at that time and you were auditioning, which show would you have wanted to audition for, and which character would you have wanted to be?
Oh, let me think. There's so many shows out there. Oh no.
You can just name as many of them as you want.
Hmm. I'm gonna bring up Amphibia again. I'd want to be Marcy Wu, because that voice actress was actually the one who made me want to voice act. Because I was like, what the heck? She's like only a couple years older than me. I gotta get on this.
You can
Um,
do that young?
yeah, literally. I was like, whoa.
Amphibia is the Disney Channel show, right?
Yeah, it is. Um, I'd want to be in a Scream film too. I think. I don't know what character though. I love the
Character number
school
one
series.
that dies.
True, I could be the beginning kill scene character.
What else has interested you outside of Amphibia and Scream Film? Because you made it sound like you were a major consumer of media right at the beginning of our conversation.
Yeah, I do consume a lot of media. I'm just a very like jumbled person, and then whenever like somebody asks me something, I'm like, uh, uh.
What?
um,
You said at the beginning that you like trying for characters who fit your personality, so.
yeah. Another Disney animated series that I like is The Owl House.
Oh, house.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like I could voice the character Willow. I feel like I can relate to her a little bit.
That's fun. I'm realizing that we come from different generations. You're watching all the cartoons that started playing as soon as I stopped watching cartoons. So I was like Phineas and Ferb and everything, and
Oh, I
then
loved Phineas and
yeah,
Ferb when I
Phineas and
was
Ferb. That
little.
was the jam. That was like all of my friends were watching Phineas and Ferb. What are the other ones? We
I'm
watched.
like
Sorry, what?
I'm like obsessed with Adventure Time though. I
Adventure Time. Adventure Time was a really big one. That was like a transition show between my generation to what sounds like your generation, because it lasted a pretty long
yeah,
time, and it kind of
and it's
ushered in that next
yeah,
kind of wave of animation.
it did, and it's like still going. It's got like a new spin-off series that's coming out.
Yeah, I remember whenever they first released it, Cartoon Network was like not a channel I watched because I just could never really vibe with that art and that style of humor and stuff because I was raised watching so like I'll explain it. My dad had a dad, so my grandfather was pretty old whenever he had my dad. So he fought in World War II, so all of his entertainment and music that he listened to was all black and white films and big band and
Mm,
jazz and stuff. So my dad's media consumption was all of that old stuff, and since my dad doesn't really expand anything ever from what he originally likes, whenever he was raising us, me and my sister, all we watched were those old shows and listened to that old
yeah,
music. So I've always been in a weird place trying to connect with a lot of people because they'll be mentioning all these shows and televisions and everything, and I'm just like oh yeah, I think that came on whenever I was a
yeah.
kid. Were you watching
The
it?
the what?
No. What did you
Yeah.
watch? Abbott and Costello?
Yeah, there was a time when I was like 6, I moved to California and my grandparents, like we lived in the mountains and my grandparents were extra high in the mountains. So they had like really really old cable. So I didn't know like I didn't even watch Adventure Time back then. Like I was watching like Betty Boop and Looney Tunes.
The classics.
Yes.
That was also what I was raised on. I've been trying to collect. There is no complete collection of all of the Looney Tunes that exists. You have to buy like three different collections
Oh.
to have almost all of them, and then like two separate DVDs to actually get the like 12 episodes that aren't in the other volumes. And I'm just
That's
like, why is
so
it so hard?
strange.
It's Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers surprisingly is one of the best companies for preservation, but it's also one of the worst companies for preservation because it has TCM, which is Turner Classic Movies, which I used to watch all the time,
Mm.
because it's a channel that plays everything from the origins of film, so like silent films, all the way through like the 90s. At this point, they expand the range every like decade.
Yeah.
Um, and so Turner Classic Movies actually helps with restoration efforts for
Oh.
media of all kinds. So there's a lot of really interesting short films as well that they'd place in between the actual films. Um, and they help with those preservation efforts. But Warner Brothers even though they own TCM and TCM's doing a lot, for Warner Brothers' own IP, they like are absolutely terrible at preserving any of it. There's so much lost media inside of Warner Brothers, or just media that they have access to, but they just don't do anything with. And so preservationists are like, please let us go in. And Warner Brothers is like, but how would this make us money? And they're like, because they are collectors. And they're like, eh. It's really
Yeah.
frustrating. What's is there any media that your friends have ever brought up that you've always heard about and you just like, oh, I'd love to watch or see this, but you've just never had a chance to catch up with it?
Hmm. Let me think. Let me think. One of them I have to say is probably Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm.
I hear it a lot. I've got a lot of people who I know a lot of people who watch it, and some of them are like, "You gotta watch this, dude." And I watched like 4 episodes, and I just like keep like just getting distracted, and I haven't watched anything else of it.
Distractions are understandable. I have also been hearing there. I am surrounded, it feels, by people who are absolutely big anime fans. And what's funny is that
Yeah.
growing up with them, I didn't know any of them liked anime because they just never brought it up. And it was like as the rest of culture started bringing up anime, all of them were like, "Oh yeah, I used to watch this all the time." And I'm like, "You've never once mentioned the show the entire time I've
Yeah.
known you." Was just like out of the woodworks, they suddenly revealed themselves.
When I
Is
was little, I didn't even know that Pokemon was an anime. I just thought it was a like I thought it was like just like it is a unique style, but I didn't know like that was a term when I was watching it. So when
yeah.
anime was becoming big, I was like, "This is an anime? What?"
The same would go for like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where I heard people whenever it was coming out refer to it as an anime, and I was like, it just looks like a cartoon? Question mark. Not knowing.
Yeah, there's
And you just go.
oh, there's people online because I feel like anime is just like a Japanese like cartoon or animation. I feel like there's not really
Mm-hmm.
too much of a difference. But there's people online who are like, "No, Pokemon or Naruto, this is not an anime. It's a cartoon. It's an animation. You can't change my mind." It's so strange.
Yeah, I the people who really harp on those points are ones that I'm always really confused by. I'm like, does this really affect you though?
Yeah.
It's like, can't you just be excited? Have you ever auditioned for a dubbing of a show before?
um, I've auditioned for a dub of a comic. I
Mm.
yeah, I we never that was one of the things though that got canceled, so it never really went
Oh,
through.
that was like an indie comic, or was that more of a bigger publisher?
It's an indie comic. Let me remember the name. It's I see it a lot. It's called I Love Amy.
I
I
actually
don't
haven't
know
heard of
much
that one.
about it. I see the art a lot online, but I've never read it. I just thought it'd be fun to audition, but yeah, the our director was like, I can't like some stuff came up, so
That's upsetting. Yeah, whenever I hear about indie comics and that I don't know about them, I'm always surprised. I one of the first things I ever attempted creatively was the indie comic scene because you can't see it, but I have a bookshelf right here, and half of the shelf is just comics, and the other half is books. So whenever the indie comic scene happened, I was actually there pretty much at its inception, uh, collecting a bunch of indie comics. I even have some right here from that period, and even more
mm.
in my house. So whenever somebody mentions indie comics, I'm like, oh really? Whose? What was it? I think I might know that.
Yeah. I
Well,
also have like a bookshelf of comics and stuff.
What comics did you enjoy?
Um, I have like a lot of Adventure Time stuff. Um, I do have a few. Well, I have like two mangas, and then I have the Scott Pilgrim and Legends of Zita series.
Legends of Zita is all someone I don't know. Is that a newer series or is
Um,
that an older
it's
series?
it's old. I started collecting the books when I was like in middle school.
Do you do you primarily collect like Western comics or like manga and
I
stuff?
collect I collect a lot of Western comics.
I do too. What do you like, older or newer comics?
Um, Honestly, just like whatever is related to my interest. I'm a very interest in like I don't know how to describe it other than that. Interest consumer. If there's something
If it
related to
pops,
something
you
I
get it.
like, yes. If it...
Well, that's kind of what you said with what attracted you to Jin's project. Did you,
Yeah.
whenever you do a project with somebody, do you like try and keep up with them, or are you just kind of like one off with projects most of the time?
Um, I do try to keep up with them because I want to like be able to, see the work when it's finished. Sometimes it can be difficult because I have communication issues. So sometimes I get like too scared to like talk to people.
That
But
is
yeah, Jin is definitely one of the
understandable.
people I tried to keep up with.
Jin is very nice. He's a really chill
Yeah.
guy. I like Jin.
I like
I
Jin
can't
too. He's awesome.
I can't remember if inside of the interview itself, but we mentioned video games, and I was talking about them. Uh, and I was like, yeah, I don't have anybody to play Elden Ring Night Rain with. And he's like, oh, you like those kinds of games? I was like, I do like those kinds of games. He's like, maybe we need to hook up and play some every once in a while. I was like, you know what? I'm interested. Haven't done that yet because life's a little busy at the moment, but I'm still
Yeah. And
I'm like,
Jin's
I'm gonna
so
keep
far
up with
away.
Jin. Well, it's not even that he's so far away. So it actually, this would be a good one. We'll get into online friendships and building communities because this is a project of mine. Um, one of the things I want to do is I wanting. Let me pull back one more thought. My brain runs at 4 times speed. My mouth runs at 0.25. You know,
Yeah.
uh, for creatives, do you get the feeling from any of your other friends or other creative people that you've talked to that they feel like there's no point in creating?
Um, I don't think so. A lot of my creative friends, I don't really know anyone who does it at like unless it's like just like for fun because they enjoy it and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen people online though be complaining like, "Oh no, we're all of the people in creative industry are like close to losing their field or jobs and stuff like that." Have you seen all
Yeah.
of those?
Yes, I have, especially with like AI becoming bigger and bigger.
Mhm. I have another interview that hasn't gone up yet with a guy named Mokusan, and we get to talk about AI a little bit. And one of the things I told him, because he was talking about how it's really hard to get projects done, and how he knows some people who are using AI to get projects done whenever they originally weren't ever going to touch AI. And I brought it up to him. I was like, I'm not really. I want people to create more than I care about if they use a traditional medium or if they use AI, because
Mm.
I think more things better, essentially. Um, would I prefer that people use traditional methods? Absolutely, because I'm a big fan of
Yes.
movies. One of my favorite things is puppetry. And so whenever you watch like old Jim Henson films and you see these very intricately crafted puppets, and you know that like 4 people were operating a single one at a time, and so you had, behind the scenes, there are like 30 people on set, and you've got like 5 puppets, and those 30 people are just controlling those 5 puppets. But there's so many
Yeah.
other levels of creativity to making that happen, and then they also the same people that were building the sets and everything. So I love, the handcrafted element of all of these projects. So I always want people to still be putting the effort in to making these handcrafted things. But I was like, but if I had to choose, it's like, okay, if the handcrafted isn't going to happen anymore and it's just going to be digital, do I still want things to be created at the end of the day? And it's like, yes, I still want things to be created at the end of the day. So I'm not like anti AI, but I am pro traditional art, is the way I put it.
Yeah.
Because you can do a lot with AI, and I think what it would be best for a lot of people who have these big ideas and they want to make like a movie, they want to make it live action, is making a short or making like a sequence, posting that, being like, this is what I'm aiming for, and if I can get funding for it, it's all going to be real. But you kind of need funding to get costumes together and to get travel
Yeah.
and all these other things. So it's just, cost prohibitive is always what's been a problem, for creative industries. But one of the things I'm wanting to hopefully do in the future, and one of the reasons I started doing the interview process, is I was like, I want to figure out what are the primary issues that creatives are having with getting work, and see if there's a way that I can like collect all of the industry or people who are trying to be creative into a single place, and to where they can like constantly cross reference each other. So for you doing like voice acting and wanting to do, like on screen acting and stuff, it's like, well, what if there was a website, not with the intention of like self of like begging for money, not for that intention, but like you could go there and it's even easier than the castingcall.com to
Yeah.
find other people, because other people are more directly talking with you rather than just a casting call of sorts. And then you can talk to other actors directly on there who will be like, oh, I see that you're doing this. Maybe also try this. And so then you can go try that and then come back later. And since it's more of a community of creatives rather than a professional website, it would hopefully promote more communication amongst different levels of creators. So for the comic, right, because you said you did a comic, the idea would be that you'd have just a bunch of artists in their art channel posting all of their art. They could be getting feedback from other people being like, hey, you're doing really good, or you're progressing this way, have you considered this? And you'd have to be open to people commenting on your art and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you could have somebody who's trying to write, and so they could be talking with other people, they could be making PDFs and documents, and whenever they're like, I kind of want to make this into a comic or something, they could then have another channel where they post what their script is, and then go into the channel with all of the artists and be like, hey, I had an idea for this. Is anybody interested in doing art for it? And then they could privately discuss whatever they wanted to about art and getting that done or something like that. But I feel like there's a really large barrier for a lot of creatives, and I feel like there is a solution to bridge that gap that hasn't been
Yeah.
properly done yet. I don't know what your thoughts are since you're pursuing some of
I
these
think
things.
I think that sounds really cool because yeah, um you said it earlier, auditioning kind of like just shooting in the dark. Like you're just shooting your shot, you don't know like what's going to happen, and sometimes there's just like not projects that are up yet that like everybody can audition for. And since like for me I only use Casting Call Club, I get too scared to like advertise myself out there on socials. I feel like if I did that, I know it's not narcissistic, but I feel like if I did it specifically, I'm like, yeah, hire me, guys. I'm cool. It just feels a little strange. So like, if there's nothing on Casting Call Club, then I'm just waiting for more stuff to get uploaded.
Hmm. I would suggest you might already be doing it. But for me, I created an Instagram, and so every time I do something, I'm purely independent. I haven't done anything with anybody else. So anytime I create something, I just put it on YouTube and then I put it on Instagram, uh, to hopefully somebody will see me, because again, I don't know where to go to find projects. So I'm like, well, let me
Yeah.
just post it, because the people who enjoy these things are probably going on these websites looking for people. So that's something I would potentially suggest for you, especially if you do live streams. A lot of other creatives, you find them just because you see their shorts and stuff
Yeah.
online, and so you got to like save the live stream and then like do clips and stuff, and it's very complicated stuff that I've not looked into yet, because I'm a lazy person by nature, is what I tell everybody. So if I'm going to put effort in, it has to be minimal effort with maximum return. Otherwise, I don't
Yeah.
do it.
I feel
Uh,
that.
yeah, it's just have motivation's hard to come by. So it's like, I don't want to do
It
this
is.
today.
It's like I want to do this, but I don't actually want to like. Can I not put in that much effort? Is there
I,
the
I
just the easy way?
I want to do the thing. I want everyone else to do everything surrounding the thing that I want to do.
Yes.
That's what it is. But the problem is that you have to be doing literally everything starting off, until people start popping up in your life who are like, I'd love to do this part of it for you, and be like, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
appearing. I'm hoping that I find somebody who wants to who's an editor, because I hate
Mm.
editing audiobooks, because I've already read the book. So whenever I'm listening to it again, I'm just listening to my voice read the same book again. So then I'm like cutting out these tiny little mistakes over and over again, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hearing my own voice. And
I
then I have
feel
to edit
that.
it, and then I have to make it into a short, and then I have to make the thumbnail, and it's like, at what point do I just get to read the next story, you know?
Yeah.
Uh Again, looping back around, huge rabbit trails that I keep leading us down. So you said that you do streaming, and it sounds like you primarily do Roblox. Are there any other things that you do, or is that kind of your jam?
Um, I mostly do Roblox just because it's like easier to play with viewers and stuff. I do play other games. I've played like I played Don't Starve Together. I've played oh gosh, what else have I played? I've played A Hat in Time. I've played Deltarune, Tamagotchi Life. Outside of Roblox, I'll like just play whatever games like that. Once again, I've already sometimes I'll play games I've already played because they interest me and I want to show more people, or I'll play new stuff that I've been waiting for.
I've got such a large back catalog. I really like story games, or games with
Mm,
like good stories. So
yeah.
um, recently I've been trying to complete Pragmata. I really uh, I tell everybody, I'm like, it's not a $60 game, it's a $40 game, and it's a really good $40 game. So like, wait until it's on sale, and then you'll feel like you got your money's worth out of it, because it's got a lot of really interesting ideas. And then Diana is just incredibly cute, so I
Yeah,
enjoy
I've seen
it.
a little bit of it and it's always mainly Diana that I see.
Well, it's because I told my friends whenever they came out with the most recent reveal trailer for it, because that game was in production for like 6 years or 8 years, something like that. It was a really long time whenever they originally announced it, that I never kept up with it. Um, but whenever I saw the trailer and they showed Diana, I remember I told some of my friends, I was like, I'm gonna have to get this game because Capcom somehow went into my dreams and stole my daughter out of them. Because you just imagine, you're like, if I have a family one day, what are they like? And you just start trying to imagine
Yeah.
what your kids might look like, and like almost one to one, Diana looks like a daughter that I would imagine myself having in the future. And I was like, well, dang it, they got me. The marketing worked. I am not immune to the propaganda, so I
Yeah.
fell for it. But I know for myself, it seems like you kind of like, I guess, like platformer games almost, because I know outside of Deltarune, the rest of the ones that you mentioned have like some element
Yeah,
of
I
movement.
play a wide variety of games. Like,
What would you say are the two furthest apart games that you play?
um, let me see. There's party games and then there's permadeath games.
What's a party game and what's a permadeath game?
Um, there's this game on Roblox, funnily enough,
Hmm.
called Hitman Card Game. Um, it's. Have you played Exploding Kittens
I have.
or heard
So,
of it?
just an extra detail might help you. I am a really big board game guy. Literally,
Oh,
before the reason I had to do it at 3 o'clock today is that I was at a board game tournament with my friends that we hosted.
oh, that's so fun.
Yes. So if you mention any board game, there's a very high chance I already know it.
But yeah, it's basically Exploding Kittens, but mixed with Russian roulette. It's really funny.
That's pretty fun. The Exploding Kittens is one of those ones where I play it and then I get so mad whenever I lose because I don't feel like there was any strategy involved anytime that I lose. I'm just like, this was stupid. Like I shouldn't have lost
Yeah.
here. I like
Oh, there's
having some amount of control, you know? Have
yeah.
you have you this is a suggestion for you on Steam since I'm sure you use Steam if you're playing online. Um have you gotten Board Game Simulator?
I have not.
Okay, so there
Is that
is
like
it's
does it have like a bunch
literally
of
just called
weapons?
Board Game Simulator. You download it, and then there are like infinity mods for it. And it's essentially any
Oh,
board game that's ever existed. Somebody has put the rules and modeled all of the pieces and the board, and you can host private lobbies. So if you like board
that's
games
so
and you're wanting to do
cool.
more stuff with viewers, the majority of the stuff on there is free. So it's like you just get the simulator, which I think is $10 if I'm remembering correctly, and you can basically play any board game with viewers that exists.
That's
Even
so cool.
even the one that we played just now, it's called Unmatched, and Unmatched is pretty fun because it just takes characters from everywhere, like literally everywhere. Uh, an
Yeah.
example of a game that we just played, I was George Washington, and my teammate was Wyatt Earp, the sheriff, because we were playing from their expansion that has American characters, and then we were fighting against Sun Wukong and who was the other person? I can't remember what the other person was, but it was Bigfoot. So you just have characters from like literature and history, and they even have Marvel sets and stuff too. And all it is, it's a 60 card deck with a board, and you move your people on the board, and then you play cards as defense or attacks, and you try to be the last one standing.
That's really funny.
It is very fun. And if you like another board game, if you like Exploding Kittens, do you do hidden role games with friends as party games?
Um, I don't actually play. I don't think so.
All right, my favorite hidden role game is one called Coup, Coup.
C O
Um,
U P.
yes, and so each person gets two cards, and those cards are two different abilities. You have two characters that can each have a unique ability. You can steal from somebody the money. You can tax. You can do a tax where you get 3 money. You can assassinate somebody, and you can swap out your cards. And I think there's one other card that I'm forgetting at the moment.
I see.
And what you're trying to do is you're trying to be the last person with a card in hand. And so every single turn, everybody does one action. And if somebody thinks that the action you took is for a card that you don't own, they can accuse you of lying. And if they were correct, you flip over a card and now you only have one card left. If they were incorrect, you show the card and that you actually had it and they lose a card instead. And then you swap out and get a free random card. So now you have back to nobody knows what's in your hand.
I see.
And so it's one of my favorite role deduction games.
That sounds really fun.
It's pretty great whenever all of the accusations start, because the moment one person starts making an accusation, everyone starts making accusations.
Then everything's utter chaos.
And there's always that one person that their gut instinct is so strong. They're just like, I'm going to do it. And you're like, I literally have the card. You should not challenge me on this. And they're like, I'm going to challenge you. And then they challenge you and you have the card. And they do that twice in a row. And so they just die by the second turn of the game, and they're just sitting there waiting. And it's a
Oh,
really short game too. It's like 15 minutes is like the maximum you're gonna play. So you get to do like multiple rounds in a row, and every single time everybody has new cards. So all of the accusations start over again.
that's really cool.
It is really cool. So because you keep mentioning your viewers, how how do you go about building a community? Because a lot of people struggle with building a community. You know?
Yeah, I I got very lucky, I think. My very first stream was me trying to figure out Twitch, and
Mm-hmm.
like I've never used it before. I don't know anything about it, and it's hard to troubleshoot things when you're not live. Like, how am I supposed to know what goes wrong when I'm live if I can't try it when I'm live? And like usually I know like I've like seen people be like, yeah, your first like few streams you're not gonna really have people. So I just like hopped in a game. I was trying to see how everything was running, and somebody that I actually follow saw me, and then they raided me, and
Oh,
like I immediately like had like people watching me. I was like, what? And then they all like came and joined my game. I was like, what? What is going on? And I didn't have anything. They're like, so when are you making a Discord server? I'm like, I haven't I haven't even thought about doing that.
so
Was
you did this
terrified.
person who you were watching even know you existed? Because I watch some people, but I'm one of the lurkers. You know, I like
Mm.
never send messages and I never donate or anything. I just watch. And so like nobody would know that I exist as a viewer to raid me, you know? Are you
Yeah,
an active participant in their communities? Is that how they knew you?
not really. At the time, like I had just discovered them because of a game that I really like. I was like, whoa, like they made a video and I saw they streamed. And so I followed their Twitch. I joined their Discord, and I'm a lurker too, so I was just lurking. There was one time I did participate in a game night, but I was just muted the entire time,
Mm.
so I was just kind of like there,
What's it
and yeah.
So they just completely randomly found you on stream, or did they see that you
Yeah,
were in their like Discord and were like, "Oh, this person's in our Discord and they're streaming the game that we stream."
when you raid on Twitch, you can add like you can search for people, like so you can put like tags or like show me people who I'm following or show me smaller streams. And I'm pretty sure that they just put like Roblox or the game that I was streaming, and they were like, "Oh, this person's streaming this game. This is their first ever stream. Go crazy." And then
Go crazy.
they actually went into another Discord server with this YouTuber who has oh my gosh, this person I didn't even know who they were, but they have a large following.
Mm.
Well, in
If
my
they're
eyes, they have
public
a large
figures, you can
following.
just go ahead and mention their names.
Yeah. So Skelly is the one who rated me, and then he went to this YouTuber called Haymaker's server, and Haymaker has like a few 100,000 subscribers, I think, and he
Mm.
put my stream in there too. So he was like, go raid this person." So I got two raids kind of on my
Dang.
first stream. I had a lot of people watching me, and it made me very nervous.
Was everybody nice? They were just like, "We're here because they said you were just starting out. Go nuts."
Yeah, everybody was so nice and supportive. I was like terrified and shaking at my desk while playing my game. I'm like, it was really funny because when I got raided, I didn't realize it. I have my Twitch notification noises as the sound effects from the game that I was playing. So I was like,
Mhm.
is the game bugging? And then I looked over at my OBS and I'm like, oh, there's people here. What the? I got really scared but happy.
I was expecting to stream into the void the entire existence.
Yeah. Why is there like 20 people here, guys? Hello?
Did you like go back into that person's Discord and just say thank you? You're like, hey, you probably don't know I was part of your Discord. Thanks.
Yeah, I was like freaking out. I was like, dude, thank you, thank you.
Did you actually like keep up with them? Or are you like now friends with them because of them rating you, or have you just kind of went your own way in the
Um,
end?
at first we didn't actually talk too much. Like we'd rate each other, but there was one stream where we played together, and after that we just like became friends, and we will talk in each other's communities and stuff, and we'll hang out and play stuff together.
That's pretty cool. Whenever you find people that you like get along with, I've been trying to expand my horizons outside of my town for things,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've got like a friend who lives in Taiwan. I've got one from Germany, got an Italian, you know. So it's fun
Yeah.
meeting people outside of your circle. That was one of the things you mentioned earlier, where you're talking about like connecting with people, uh, or finding time to do things with them. I actually find it's easier to schedule times with my friends from other parts of the world than my friends locally, because I'll be getting done with my work around the time that all of them are like waking up to play games. And
Oh.
so I mostly play online with all of my foreign friends and hardly ever play any games with my local friends because my local friends have a different work schedule than me.
Yeah.
So I
That's
actually
how I
just,
am too.
yeah, all of my foreign friends are the ones that I play all the video games with because we have opposite schedules, which makes it convenient for doing interview stuff too. Because like with Jin, he was like, "Oh well, I'm free this time," and I'm like, "Oh, that's like after I get work and home. That's perfect." Whereas if
Yeah,
I tried to,
sometimes.
yeah, go.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I have this group chat I'm in, and like, I'm like the only American there. Everybody is on the other side of the world. Like, 8 of the people in there are from Thailand. One of them's in Korea, and so I'll like wake up, and they'll be on a game, and I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll join them.
Hmm. It's really fun. It's one of those things where you're like, it's fun to meet people playing games or like doing online stuff, and so you kind of always want to have your mic on in case somebody else has their mic on, so you can just start riffing with them. But at the same time, it's like whenever I play a game, I don't really want to talk either. So
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. The other thing I always do, you since you stream, you probably don't do this. Uh, I always have like I have two monitors, and so I
Mm-hmm.
usually have a movie uh, or like a TV show on the other one while I'm playing a game. So then I'm like, it'd be hard to talk to people and also listen to the movie, and then like also stream because I've never uh, I have in previous attempts tried streaming, but then I'm always like, do I want to stream or do I want to just play the video game? And I've never quite figured out what I want to do. I want more free time is what I actually want, because if I had more free time so I could play games by myself and then also have stream time to
Yeah.
like play games, that would be ideal, but I don't have that at this moment. So it's always
Mm.
that like inner conflict that I have. How did how did you get to the point where you felt like brave enough or interested enough in streaming to stream?
Um, Funnily enough, it was because of the person I mentioned earlier, Skelly.
Again,
Yes, I
you need to
grow
like
like
give them like $1,000 after you hit it big, you know?
yeah. Um, Growing up, I really wanted to be a YouTuber. Like I'd make as a little kid, I'd make like videos and stuff, but that didn't go anywhere because it was just a little kid with a phone. But um, for a while, like around the same time I wanted to start doing voice acting, I was like, streaming's really big right now. I should get on that, but I never did until I discovered that Skelly was streaming. I was like, this guy does YouTube and streaming? Hold on a minute. I gotta tap in on this. And yeah.
But like the actual, a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there, or they think of something just as a hobby, whereas a lot of people also start streaming because they want to try and make it a career of sorts. So whenever you started streaming, were you like, this is just another hobby, like I just enjoy streaming, or is it another aspect of where you're like, well, I hope this is something that could work out?
Um, it's both. I it's a really fun hobby to do because like I mean yeah, I like playing games on my own, but sometimes like I like playing with people. Um, and if I just like go live, people are automatically like, yeah, I want to get on, I want to play and stuff. I would love to make streaming into a career though. That would be awesome.
Something that I think you should do, because it'd be very interactive for your friends and it would also feed back into voice acting.
Oh,
You should create, and it would also add to your drawing. You should draw characters and give them like a name and a personality and maybe like a paragraph each, like a dialogue. And so you could have somebody hop in and you'll do one character's voice and they'll do another character's voice and y'all just like
oh, like
improv or
live
something.
storytelling kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but with like, oh, that'd be cool.
I am
I
so full
never
of
even thought
great
about that.
ideas that I will never attempt. You should take all of my great ideas and make them happen. I told
That
an
sounds.
artist friend before, because you know I would love to be able to just pump money into artists' funds all the time and get cool things out of it, but I don't have the funding for that. So I was
Yeah.
like, I told one of my artist friends before, I was like, the alternative method for getting artwork that you want from the artist that you want is by having a cooler idea than they have. To where you don't say, oh man, I'd love to commission you for this. You just mention something while you're with them. You're like, dude, this idea I had, isn't this sick? And if you can convince them that it's like the coolest thing ever, they'll immediately want to create it anyways. And so, like, I don't ask for a physical print. I just start mentioning this really cool idea I have until they feel compelled to make it from their own mind because they thought the idea was that cool.
That's
And then I get to see
smart.
the finished project. It's only
That's
worked a few
actually really
times.
smart.
It's only worked a few times, but it's really fun to do. Whenever you can, if you're creative enough, creative people want to make things that are cool and that
Yeah.
interest them. So if you know that you have an overlapping interest and you know you have better ideas than they have, they can't help themselves. They just make it.
Yeah.
Have there been any people that you have helped start streaming?
Um, kind of. There's another person from Skelly's community. She DM'd me one day. She was like, Leky, what do you use to stream? Like, I want to start streaming. And I was like, oh, I just use OBS. You gotta, like, set it up on your computer. I have, like, a little character that I have on screen that moves when I talk. And I use this for that. And yeah, now that helped her. And now she's streaming.
Do you, because I don't know, I haven't I haven't looked into any of your streams. Sorry.
You're
Do
okay.
you do like a live, like with a face, or is it just like a JPEG, or do you have like a VTubing model? Because I know that's kind of big now.
I have a moving PNG. Like, I have a bunch of layers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a VTuber, but it has
PNG
like a clip.
tuber.
Yeah, PNG tuber. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was like
Whenever
the
you,
proto VTuber.
yeah, I do. It'd be cool to have like a VTuber model, but I just don't have the setup for that. And also, I feel like tracking would be weird because I have a lazy eye. So one of my eyes like is like I don't know what the correct term is, but one of my eyes is pointing inwards. I can like switch to it and look at it, and then the other one's looking inwards, like towards the other one. And I feel like that'd mess up the tracking.
I have a workaround. Get a VTubing model with a lazy eye, and so have it to where it automatically
Yeah.
tracks to the direction of both eyes.
You're right, though.
And then you'd have a really unique VTubing model because nobody else would have a lazy-eyed VTuber.
You're right, though.
I told you, I've got all the ideas.
You do. You've got lots of ideas.
What has been your favorite part of having a community or building a community?
Um, Probably just like interacting, really. Like most of my community is so amazing. They're so awesome and creative, and they're always so eager to like play stuff and talk and chat. And they always like my community is really funny. They'll say like the most random things. It cracks me up.
I imagine the kind of people who are engaging with streamers are probably already like weirder than the average, and probably in some way extroverted outside of the normal extroversion that exists.
Yeah.
So I think I wonder if that's pretty common amongst the majority of people who stream having this kind of, or I wonder if it also might be that whenever you stream certain games or you have a certain kind of personality you're presenting, if that attracts certain kinds of personalities to you, so that you just kind of end up with the same kind of people that you want to be hanging out with to begin with.
Yeah. It
How do
could,
you
because there's like a whole search engine where you can like look up tags and you can tag your streams.
how do you think that communities are built and maintained?
Hmm. Oh gosh, I don't know.
You're like, it just
uh,
happened.
yeah, honestly, like it did. Um, for me, like I was so lost. Like, and I admitted that to my viewers before I had a Discord server. I'm like, I don't know where to start with this, but like two of Skelly's mods were like, "Hey, we can help you with your server. Like, we got you." So I had like a couple people help me create the server, like, and make rules and stuff. And yeah,
Rules is probably the hardest part because whenever I'm trying to
it
think of the
is.
community I want to make, I am I'm a not like a high extroversion person. I tell people I'm probably like an actual ambivert because I like going out, doing a really big extroverted activity with other people, and then I don't want to talk to anybody for the rest of the day. It's like I
Yeah.
have the moment where I want to communicate with somebody else, and then I don't want any more connection outside of that.
I
Um,
have that exact same thing.
yes, it's. I wish I could personally control whether or not I was interested in being around people, like the
Same.
the the battery, because you go to events and you're just like, I want to be here, but I just don't want to be here anymore at the same time. Do you get
Yeah.
me?
Yeah,
Uh,
like a big hangout, and you're like, "This is so fun," and then 20 minutes later, you're like, "I want to go home, but I can't."
yes, I'm trying to think of. I was notorious uh, earlier on, like in high school and stuff, for just disappearing from parties because I would just reach the point where I was like, I'm having fun still, but at the same time, I'm done. And so I would just leave and not say goodbye because I didn't want to disturb anybody from whatever they
Mm.
were doing at the moment. So it would just like suddenly someone would later on notice and they'd be like, "Where's Caleb?" And so I had the reputation of just disappearing after like 30 minutes or 40 minutes from a party going on.
Yeah, from me, in high school. I was such like a people pleaser. So
Mm.
like, people were like, "We gotta go to this event," and I'll be like, "Okay," and then when I'm like completely drained, I'll keep interacting, but I'm also like hunched over in the corner, like on my phone.
Mm-hmm. I have learned it's okay to just be like, all right, I'm done, goodbye, because I found
Yeah.
out I've always been bad at like communicating with people, um, in like normal human settings. Let's put it that way. And so for the longest time, the reason I left is because I was like, well, if I disturb everybody while they're doing something, they'll probably be upset by that since they're like invested in whatever they're doing. And then
Yeah.
later on, people were like, "It's really rude of you to just leave without saying goodbye." And I was like, "Oh, y'all like want to know that people are leaving the party." And so then I realized it's okay to be done in the middle of a party and then say goodbye. Like people don't
Yeah.
actually mind that, but I always thought that people would be upset by my doing that. But they were actually upset that I left without saying goodbye.
I felt that same way, except like I wasn't brave enough to really just dip. Like I'd feel really guilty about just leaving. So
Hmm.
I'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go," and then I'd just quietly leave.
Yeah, no, I full send with a leave. You just go like, I had so much fun with you guys, but it's time for me to go now. And people are like, all right, bye. And I was like, oh, that's so
Yeah.
much easier. Once you know the social dynamics, but if you don't know the social dynamics, it's like so many extra layers of thought going into how are people going to take this.
Yeah.
Whenever I literally had the question lined up and then I completely forgot it in that moment. Um, Oh, the rules. Yeah, I wanted to go back to the rules because again, I was hoping to create a thing, and so I was saying like I'm a really extroverted person, but at the same time, I am absolutely no nonsense. If you're causing problems, I just want you gone. you know,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
so I have a really weird. It puts people off a lot of times whenever I'll be in settings and I'll be vibing with everybody else, and then I'm also a very opinionated person. Um, and so I'm very much like, you can have whatever opinion you want, so long as I can have whatever opinion I want. And I come from a very argumentative family to begin with. So if we disagreed with you, we just immediately be like, well, I disagree, and start arguing. Uh, but most people don't come from a family like that. So I would just like immediately disagree with somebody and start arguing with them. And so that like throws a lot of people off because they'll be like, what happened to the vibe? And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the vibe. Um, but to that extent, to where I just kind of like don't take any nonsense for troublemakers. I guess is the best way of putting it, because in in any creative field, you're gonna have those people who want to cause issues, um,
Yes.
or or they're just the idea of creatives being unstable is a thing for a reason, right? It's that some personality traits are just more likely to be found in creative people, and a lot of them have to do with lack of confidence of some sort. Uh, so while you want to build a community where it's like really transparent on multiple different levels for people to be able to communicate, that also means that a lot of people can more easily complain and find other people to potentially also join in the complaints, right? So it's like, how
Yeah.
do you get the right people and moderate the troublemakers out? And for me, I'm like so quick on the draw for my willingness to ban somebody, because I'm like, the easiest way to enforce rules is to enforce the rule.
Yeah.
Uh, so I essentially, whenever I'm still trying to figure out, how to make guidelines and rules for everything, like for troublemakers, I'm kind of thinking that I just do like a one strike rule where it's like the first time you're caught, you get a slap on the wrist, but if it happens again in like a 3 month period, you're just immediately booted from the server, because I just don't want to give room for drama to occur. Because
Yeah.
the goal would be, so like you like drawing and you haven't done any drawing streams yet, but let's say in the server you were a part of the drawing side of it, and so you could, I imagine I'd make two channels for essentially every creative work, including like puppetry. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get in contact with some people who do puppetry and stuff, um, because I love puppets. So like I said, it's every creative industry. I want all of them.
Yeah.
Um, And so it's like there'd be the you can just share your artwork, and there would be the I'm putting my artwork here specifically to be critiqued. And so you'd want to just make sure that the rules for both of those is clearly outlined. If you're sharing it in this one, no one is maybe not like no one is open to critique your art, but is not intended. So if they're like, hey, I don't want to hear any critiques, I just want to post and have people cheer me on, you could put it there. And for anybody who's like actually wanting to improve and get better, they can be like, here's this, please break it down, tell me what is missing and what's not missing. Because I figured if you probably like separate into two categories, you know this is just for fun, I just need to make sure that I'm sharing my art, and then you actually have a critique room, you could probably avoid a lot of problems, but at the same time it might end up causing additional problems, and I don't really know how any of that would work for building communities, because building communities and maintaining them is just a weird concept to begin with.
It it is. it's it's a very strange thing, especially when like growing up I've been in groups, um, and I'm never the leader of any of these groups. I'm usually like one of the people following the leader, and now I have like my own little community, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm the leader. I'm terrified.
It's like one of those movies where you have like a nice person and they help a kid that they see on the street, and they're like, all right, have a nice day, and then the kid starts following them, and you're like, you need to go home,
Yeah.
and they keep following you, and then the other kids on the street start following that kid who's following you, and so now you got like a line of children, and you're like, I don't know who any of you are, and you need to go home now, please.
Yeah.
Is that what it felt like?
Yeah, it was just like, where did you guys come from?
It's the Patrick Star meme. You like arrive home with your groceries, and you're like, "Who are you people?"
Yes, who are you people?
That was
Yeah.
that was always really fun. Um, oh, what was it? One of the ideas I'm gonna ask you since you stream, so you might know better about it. I was for my channel going to. I'm trying to make my job more consistent. It's a very inconsistent job as of right now, but I think it can be a consistent job, as in for like the hours that I work. Because one of the things I want to do is I really want to promote reading, or just creative time is essentially what I'd call
Yeah.
it. So it would be like one day a week. I'd make it a 2 hour stream because I have books. I have really big chunky books. I will grab two different books that I got. One is a comic, and uh one is a book. All right, and these are the size of the books that I am collecting right
Oh,
here. I'm I
those
like
are
reading
giant.
chunky books. Yeah, so this is Transformers, the entire G1
Oh.
comic series, and this is a collection of Jules Verne novels because I like old sci-fi. But I find that I don't have loads of time for reading, um, or not as much as I'd want. And so I was like, man, if I did a stream and the intent of the stream was purely to set up a time for people to show up, and there's no talking, there's no sound whatsoever, it's just me sitting there as I'm reading for like 2 hours. So I could get 2 hours of reading in consistently every week. And then if somebody else needed a time that they could schedule every week to sit down and they could like draw, or they could also use that time to read, or they could use that time to practice an instrument or something. The idea would just be like, this is a regularly scheduled spot in time where somebody else is doing the exact same thing, which is stopping to do a hobby, or you know work of some kind. So like, what do you think about something like that? Do you feel like people would vibe with that, or do you feel like that's not something that people who stop on live streams would do?
Well, there's so many people in the world and online. I feel like there would be people who are interested in that. Like,
Yeah. The
I don't
other
have a full answer because my all my communities are like in like games and stuff. So they'll probably be like reading, ugh. But
Reading.
I feel like there's 100% there are people out there who would probably enjoy that.
Yeah, the other one is just thinking of a name, like a good title. That's always difficult
Yeah,
because it's
it's
like,
so hard.
how do I like title this to make people feel like, oh, this is what I've been looking for? Because I'll be
Yeah.
reading since I already do a lot of reading. Um, but since I want it to just be a time for people to just stop and build a habit in their lives of practicing something, which I'd be practicing reading is essentially how I'm thinking of it. And then I don't plan on talking during it. So it's not like people can get to know me from it either. So it's like how do you introduce this to people and have people find out about it who need to find out about it, you know?
Yeah, that's difficult. I feel like it would depend on like what you stream on
Mhm.
because I know on YouTube like a lot of what gets clicks is thumbnails and stuff, but like on Twitch you don't get to choose your thumbnail. So you have to rely on like an interesting name and tags. I don't really know how like YouTube live streaming works too much, but I feel like it's similar to
Yeah.
both. Like you have to I know you can choose a thumbnail. I don't know if there's like tags and stuff though.
I think there are tags in OBS that has a YouTube
Mm.
like auto layout so that you can get everything set up for it. So there are I have streamed on YouTube. So you stream video games. I also have a video game channel which I haven't really done anything with because I was originally going to start streaming. I like having fun with making like loadouts and stuff for different games because I'm just here to maximize enjoyment out of a game, right? That's probably
Yeah.
why you play games too. But I realized it takes a lot of effort to edit videos like that. And I
It
was like, I don't have the
does.
time to create one of those videos and also do almost daily uploads of audiobooks and stuff.
Yeah, I remember being little, I was like, I'm gonna be a cool gaming YouTuber, like all my inspirations, and then streaming. I was like, okay, maybe I should turn a stream into a video, and oh my goodness, it took so long. And then I had to edit everything. I had to make a thumbnail. I was just like, oh, how do people like just do this so much? Ugh.
They are hyper determined. There's
Yes.
one it's hyper determined, and you also a lot of people don't realize because just knowing that experience, you are you're not only you're doing the stream and then you're taking that stream, you are saving it, so that takes up storage on your PC. And then
Yeah.
outside of that, it's like, oh, I have to make a thumbnail. You have to go in, you have to put all of it into an editing software. You have to listen to it back to try and find the best spots. And so
Yeah.
you do like a 2 hour stream, and then you're doing like 6 hours of editing or
Yeah.
more to
And then
get,
you get like 10 minutes of footage.
yeah, and 10 minutes of footage. So it's an insane inversion of like uh, time or effort to reward, unless you're one of the people who sticks with it and gets lucky, and then you could like hire an editor or something, which is for me why I'm primarily sticking with audiobooks and interviews right now because it requires minimal effort. And I was like, but if it
Yeah.
takes off, I can then hire an editor, and then I'll be open and have the ability to practice editing other things. It'll just free up so much additional time. That's
Yeah.
uh, like we said, it's like a 6 hours of editing or 6 to 8 hours of editing just for a 10-minute video. So that's like 6 to 8 hours suddenly that you get back if you had an editor.
Yeah.
So the time investment for getting an editor is just insane, but at the same time, editors cost money, and if you don't make more income than what is required to like stay alive, you can't hire an editor uh,
Yeah.
until
And
you
then you're just
make
on your own.
enough money to hire an editor. And I guess the idea for hiring any additional role is that that role will make its money back. So if you knew that
Yeah.
every video you posted, like you have a community who would probably watch all of your videos that you post, right?
I'd hope so.
You would hope so. There's a reasonable assumption. Um,
Yes.
so if you hired an editor and you knew that they would watch your videos and or potentially share them as well, you could then potentially, without having a lot of extra income, already justify an editor because you would then be getting all the people who watched your stream and or missed your stream, because I'm sure you have people that comment on like the replays or the saves and be like, oh my goodness, I wish I could have been there, or
Yeah.
seen like the highlight reels or something like that. So you would have roughly a built-in audience, um, to already go and watch all those things. So if you had, I think it's like 500, yeah, you need 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours to be able to run ads. But before that, there's a smaller threshold for being able to create memberships. And roughly how many people do you have in your Discord or who engage? I guess engage is the more
Um,
important metric.
I have like I'd say probably about like not at 30 active members in my server. I'm a pretty small streamer, but I think I
That's fine.
have around like 80 people in the server in total.
Okay, so like 80 people total and then like 30 in the server. So you could probably just assume that the 30 would probably subscribe to a YouTube channel and that 30 would probably also watch a video and or share it. Because you could even ask them, be like, hey, this is a video. Would y'all mind sharing this on y'all's social medias or something like that? And you probably have like 5 or 10 of them who would do that to get more
Yeah.
eyes on your stuff. Uh, and so from there, you could potentially open memberships up if you get enough people who are subscribed. So, but that's also like, do you want to grow that big? That's another question you have to ask yourself. Because you might
Yeah.
want just this small 30 to 80 range of people who are currently following, you know?
Yeah.
Because once
Especially when like bigger communities is like how do I word this? It's
more people, more drama.
yeah, you gotta like you can't like befriend everybody in your community. Like you
Mm-hmm.
gotta like oh, I don't know how to word it.
It's like I want these 30 people that I know to remain, and I want 800 more lurkers.
Yeah.
Like, I want y'all to enjoy my existence, but I don't want to have to engage with you.
Yeah.
It's a funny way of putting it, but it's true at the same time. You're like, I wish I had all of the success and none of the notoriety.
Yes.
Because it
It's like
comes.
cuz there's a
Sorry,
lot
go.
of eyes on you. There's like there's a lot of people like eyes on you and you know, a lot of people like they're fun to interact with. Like I love interacting with my community. I have like a stream VC, and I have some members that I trust, and they can hop in and they can talk like on stream while we're playing stuff. But you gotta always be careful because there are people out there who either want to troll or they take your kindness as something else, and they're like, "Oh, you're not talking to the community. You're talking to me." And I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
That's why I'd have like a two-band system. I'm like, you're not that important. Bye. Just
Yeah.
immediately just exile them into the shadow realm. Like I don't want to deal with you. Sorry, man. You can
You get
join,
it.
you can enjoy, but the moment I notice a drama alert from you, you're gone because I don't deal with drama. I want to enjoy my time on this earth. And it's also, have you ever seen those like drama channels that just all they do is talk about drama between different streamers that's going on?
Occasionally I watch Penguin Zero a lot and he'll talk about like drama between he talks about everything.
Yeah. I it's really annoying that it's so entertaining to watch these things because I'm like, why am I wasting my time watching drama between two people I don't watch? You know?
Yeah.
Uh, but at the same time, those people have drama because they're like larger, and it's kind of like if I was in their shoes, would I be able to handle the drama? Like how would I react to these scenarios? Have you ever thought of that before?
I haven't really. I do my best to be very kind to people um online, so I haven't really thought about like confrontations with other people too much.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like if you continue on and you continue to have success, it's like this will come up at some point just because that's the way of life.
Yeah,
And that's one of those things where it's like, well, how would I respond to somebody who's just trying to cause drama?
yeah,
But thankfully, I mean that's partially what mods are for and stuff, and what your community is for is to be there whenever a drama happens and be able to like do or don't engage.
yeah. I'm very thankful because there's sometimes where someone will just go into my chat and say some very unkind things, and I have a widescreen monitor, but
Me
I don't
too.
have my stream set to the widescreen because I know that can look weird on certain devices. So I can have like my setup is atrocious, but I can have my chat on like the side and like my statistics on the other side and then my game in the middle. So usually I can get to the message and like be like don't do that and delete it. But I do have an amazing mod team to help me as well.
It's true. Something. So I always hear about mod teams because I've never really done a lot of looking. What is a mod team? And it seems like you kind of lucked into having a good mod team. Would you say?
Yeah, for me, my mods are my friends. Like, we talk a lot outside of streams. I mean, I wouldn't say we're like a professional team. Like, it's mostly just like them looking out for me, I'd say.
That's good. So do you have like rules that they follow, or do you just let them kind of judge it by themselves?
Um, they also follow the rules in my server because I feel like if I'm gonna have rules, it should like we should try to apply it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like sometimes people will break rules, but if there's someone I know, I'll be like, "Now listen here, man, listen here." But um, yeah, I mean, we've never really had any issues with too many people like causing what's I'm having trouble
Drama.
wording it like yeah, and like the times we have, we've like that's when we get serious. We're like, okay, what should we do? Do we give them a timeout or should we just kick them or ban them?
Yeah. For me, I'm like maximum enforcement on everything. I'd be like, you're getting banned. I have an email. You can message the email with what happened, and then I will judge then whether or not it was acceptable.
Yeah.
It's like you get
I'm
put in jail. You get put in jail, you're more likely to listen to the rules.
yeah, I'm a very forgiving person. I believe that people if they truly want to change, they can.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to give people chances, but people aren't going to change if they don't want to. So if they're just going to keep breaking the rules, then I am willing to say goodbye.
That's good. That is, I'd say, a very healthy way of applying rules and bans and stuff. Because I too think that redemption is incredibly important to give people the option, right? It's like you might have had a bad day, and so you said something, and then the bad day's over now, and now you're like, man, that was a bad day. I should apologize. And if you apologize, it's like, okay, cool. You're the kind of person who wants to be a better person, or at least recognizes when they've done something wrong, and that's a very different kind of person than someone who wants to cause problems.
Yeah, there's a saying my mom actually was bringing up yesterday. It was believe people the first time when they show you who they are or something like that. Like, yeah, you can have a bad day, but if you're just going to keep doing the thing that you shouldn't be doing, even when it's not a bad day, and they're like, "Oh no, like I'm just that's not me. Like I'm actually a good person inside, but you're still continuing to do the bad things." Then are you sure that's you inside?
Yeah, it's out of the heart the mouth speaks is one of those uh sayings because it's like your heart is the core of who you are. And
Yeah.
so whatever is in your heart is the thing that you're going to act out. So if you say something rude and then you're given the chance to apologize and you don't apologize and you like double down or say something more rude, it's like, okay, you aren't the kind of person who recognizes what is right and wrong or rude or not. So I'm going to recognize that your heart doesn't have the right thing inside of it and let you go. It's like, all right, this is goodbye.
Yeah.
It's an up an upsetting thing that plagues a lot of people. And also whenever you meet people who can't forgive as well, where it's the other end, to where
Yeah.
they just don't allow the opportunity for redemption. Because I'm sure you've probably had that in your life too, where you did something to somebody and then you felt bad afterwards, but they just like couldn't accept your apology.
Yeah.
That always sucks because it's like, no, I was trying to do the right thing, and they're like, it doesn't matter, I won't accept it. You're like, okay, and then having to
Yeah.
move on from that sucks. But it's just one of those things. Humans are humans, and we've got very complicated emotions.
Yes. We we are very complicated things.
It's like the older you get, the more complicated life becomes, and you're just like, I liked it better when I was 8 and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches was the most complicated thing in the world.
Yes, especially like at a time right now, like I've got to like plan for my future. I'm not in school anymore. I got to like figure out what I'm going to do. It oh, something I hated actually in school is especially like during my junior and senior year, teachers would be like, "What do you mean you don't have your next college lined up immediately after high school? What do you mean you don't have your entire life planned out ahead of you? You're an adult." And then you do something and they're just like, "Oh, you're not old enough to understand this." It's just like, "Oh, bro."
I always hated that. What I always hated about school was the fact that I I hate writing like MLS format stuff. Just like the more restrictions you give me, the less I'm going to want to follow any of your rules. Um,
Yes.
and so my what personally I think my best subjects are like English and writing and stuff. But I always got bad grades in those because I wouldn't in the teacher's words, I wouldn't do it the right way. And I'd be like, what do you mean I
Oh,
didn't
I
do it the
get
right
that.
way? Yeah, or same with math. They're like, you need to show your work. I'm like, I showed you all of my work. And they're like, well, that's not every single step. It's like, well, it's all the steps I needed to solve it. Maybe you need to put more effort in?
Yeah.
So it's like if you didn't do it the way the teacher wanted it done, so it didn't matter if you got it correct. It mattered if the teacher liked how you did it. And I'm like, well, what's the point in school if it's subjective? Shouldn't this be like objective reality that you're teaching me?
Yeah.
And especially for creative fields where they have teachers, because it's like, why you should be the one who's worried less about me following a rule because we're in a creative industry. Everything is
Yeah.
defined by who made the next new thing?
Yeah. I've had an issue like what you described in an art class at my high school actually. I We were going to do something very simple. We were going to just like make a like a horizon with paint, and like we're gonna use like shading to like so you can tell like, oh, like there's mountains in the back, the sky is light and stuff. And growing up as an artist, my brain was like, okay, I'm gonna choose blue, and for the darker blues I'm gonna mix in a little red so that it has some nice contrast, and then for the lighter blues I'll mix in some yellow so that it looks a little lighter without me adding too much white. And I did it, and I got a D, and I was like, dude, what's happened? He's like, you chose blue, but there's other colors in here. I'm like, oh. So I did it correctly. I just can't. I did it wrong still.
But it's also like whenever you look at a horizon or a sunset, it has multiple colors in it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Bob Ross would accept your painting. Bob
Yay.
Ross understands. He's like, that's a. He's like, it's not even a happy little accident. He's like, it's a happy little shades of blue.
Yes.
So I don't know what your time is looking like right now, but I do have a little bit of a lightning round that I always like running with people.
Oh,
All right.
I've got
So
I've got free time, so I'm ready.
excellent. All right. So the let me write them down. I forgot to write them down ahead of time. Okay. So the first question is, what is your favorite color?
Ooh, I'm a very complicated person, so right now my favorite color has got to be cornflower.
Cornflower. All right. That's is that just the color of regular cornflower? Get off the shelf.
Um, I mean, it's like this very specific shade of blue that I like a lot.
You'll have to
I mean,
show it
it's
to
a
me afterwards.
yeah.
All right. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. I don't know if this is gonna be like, oh gosh, what is it called? A pterodactyl,
A
probably.
pterodactyl? Pterodactyls are so popular. My goodness. If you watch, I think I've done like eight interviews at this point, and I think four of them are pterodactyls so far.
Oh,
It's fun hearing similarities between people. All right, the most important of the questions: do your shoes make you run fast?
yes. If they don't
Yes.
have the wheels in them.
Well, then you can just like slide faster.
True,
You
true.
just need a good hill, and then you're just zooming by everybody else.
Yeah. I'm gone, I'm gone.
I'm gone. Or if you have like a
Start
really tall
cracking the
friend,
sidewalk.
you just throw a lasso around them, pop out the wheels, and then you can keep up with them. You don't have to step forward at all.
Yeah.
That's always my introduction when I see a tall girl. I'm like, look, me, you, rope and skates. We're gone. I'm sure you can see why that's never
Yeah,
worked.
because I'm pretty short compared to all my friends.
I'm like 5'5", and I've somehow ended up with a friend group that's almost all 6 foot.
That dude, oh my gosh, my friends are kind of all over the place. However, I am 4 foot 11.5.
Oh man, you're like point .5. I'm getting all of that height.
Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment recently. They added a point 0.5. I'm going to include it.
That's my point .5, and you can't take it away.
Yes.
And that was without standing on your toes.
I took off my shoe and everything.
So, do you know why I always ask those questions?
Why?
Because those are the same questions that children ask. And so, if children are asking these questions, I think they must be the most important questions to exist.
I see. I see. That's
So, we
actually
try
really
and.
cool.
I know, I like it. So, the other thing that I always like finding out from people, because you probably consider yourself creative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty creative. So, what, because you've already mentioned some shows before, what are some movies, books, music, or any other media that you feel like other people should see?
Hmm. Oh gosh. I feel like I'm trying to think of things that like aren't insanely popular because
It's totally
there's some
fine if they
things
are
that
popular.
are
There are still people who haven't seen
yeah,
them.
true. Um I feel like I've mentioned this game earlier, I think. There's a game called A Hat in Time.
Mm-hmm.
It has a very compelling, beautiful story, and it's really funny.
It's actually in my Steam wish list. I just haven't bought it yet.
Oh,
It's been in
really?
there for like 2 years, so I just never got to it.
It's the first game I ever like 100%ed.
That's fun. I used to like 100% every game, and then the more time that I put into this, the less time I have to game. And so I've started just playing games to just beat them, and after I beat it, I just put it away because I'm like, I can't 100% them anymore. It's sad. It makes me sad that I can't do that anymore.
Aw. There's I usually play games to beat them, but if a game interests me enough, then I'll be like, okay, I gotta 100% this game. I gotta beat it to the fullest. It is annoying though when there's games like that don't have achievements.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just like, oh,
Hollow
it
Knight.
hurts. Yes.
Well, Hollow Knight does have achievements, but at the same time, 112%ing it is so hard. You're just like, oh, the time investment. All right, so we got a hat in time. Is there anything else like movies or books or music that you're just like, oh, we'll listen to this on a repeat?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I like the Legend of Zita series that I brought up.
And
Um,
that's a movie or TV
it's
show?
it's like a comic book series.
All right.
It's once again amazing, compelling story. It's really cute. I love the art style, and it's actually like about like it's a story made up about the author's daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh, yeah, it's really cute. Trying to think of anything else. Okay, this one's pretty new. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not pretty new, but it's insanely popular right now. Backrooms. I feel like,
Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing everybody talk about that.
yeah, I feel like the way the characters are presented is like really cool because like for a lot of people like they're just like, "Oh, this is like one of my favorite characters. Like I love them." But if they were a person, I feel like you wouldn't I don't think you'd want to be around them. Like there's it's just like you really like think about everything that's going on and you're like this this is a lot. There's so much going on in this one person's head. And then there's like 80 other things to like have that those same thoughts about.
Yeah, it's the complicated humans being presented on screen.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people in their own lives have those similar issues. So whenever they see somebody else in a movie that has those same issues, they feel like a personal connection to it. Would you think?
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I see that a lot. Sometimes I see it to the point where the person feels like called out. They're like, "Oh."
Oh, I relate to the villain a lot. Maybe I do need to work on myself.
Yeah.
That was, that'd be bad if you related to the villain. I always think it. I have a friend and his wife. She she has like the opposite opinion of almost every movie that I really love. And I was like, why? And she always brings up the fact she's like, I didn't like this character. And I was like, you didn't like the protagonist? She's like, no, they were like whiny or like didn't appreciate this element or something about their life. And I was like, so you mean that the character went on a story arc, right? Like the point of the movie is the fact that they had this flaw and overcame it. And she's like, yeah, I don't like them. And I always thought it was funny because her complaints for almost every single movie that I really enjoy are the fact that the character didn't already start in the mode that they were at the end of the movie. So it's like you just don't like that
Yeah.
these characters are going on arcs. You just want to watch somebody who's perfect already.
I feel like I see that like I convinced my mom to watch the Scream franchise even though she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like horror movies and like the way she grew up seeing like, you know, somebody with a weapon like attacking, she's like why are they just standing there and watching or like why are they just standing there and calling the police? They need to grab something to defend themselves or get out. And I'm just like, Mom, it's not real.
I watch it because the people inside of these movies are more stupid than I am, and it makes me feel smart, okay?
Yeah, I get to pause every time and like look at everything they do wrong and know what I will do right.
Did your mom grow up in like a war zone or something?
Basically.
Oh jeez. That's
My mother had quite the childhood, but she is a survivor. And now
good for
things
her.
things are very well.
That's very good. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else mention something like that so far. So that's a first. It's like, oh yeah, my mom used to survive knife attacks by running away. Like what? That's just a random
Well,
element to
not
drop.
exactly like that. But like,
You're like, I
I
stream. What'd your mom do? Oh, she was like dodging bullets in high school, you know?
yeah, my mom casually just traversed the world. She survived every horror known to man. And then
She
I
looked
just
at Cthulhu and didn't go insane. Absolute Chad.
my mom is a Chad. My mom's awesome.
She's just yeah, I mean, having good parents. My parents are great, so I enjoy it. It's kind of wild whenever you meet people who don't have good parents, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did your life suck? I don't know what to do with this information now. Because it's like you want to give them a hug, but at the same time, you can't actually give them the thing that they're missing, you know?
Yeah, that hug's not gonna like heal that.
Yeah.
I feel that like a lot. My family is so chaotic. My mom is
Hmm.
actually the one that started, like, well, not started. She actually like just raised half our family. Like she escaped a toxic household. She took her sister and she raised her sister, and then she raised one of my cousins, and then she raised more of my cousins. Then she had my
Dang.
sister, and then she raised me. So we've got like our
Is your
nice group.
family like Spanish or something with that many
No,
cousins and family
we're
members?
we're just very strange.
Live in the woods, you know, have those like Alabama birth rates.
We were Californians.
Californians. Oh man.
Yeah.
Before or after the fall?
A little bit of both. We still got family over there,
Okay, so
but we
you've left.
have
Yeah. Man, I
yeah.
feel sorry. I see a lot of people online that I follow, and then I find out that like all of them used to live in California. And it's like
Yeah.
weird. Like all of them moved, and all of them were like, "Yeah, because California sucks now." And they're like, all of them say they're like, "I want to move back so bad because it's so beautiful all the time," but all of them are like, "But actually living there is horrendous because of just all the bureaucracy and the fact that everyone who is over there just feels like self entitled." And so all the
Yeah,
people who
it's
are like, I guess kind is the best way of putting it, left to go to places that where nicer people are, you know?
yeah, it's insane there. Like it's like I remember when I did live there because I moved there for 16 months when I was like 6. Like I lived in the mountains, so the summers were like boiling. We had 100, like hundreds almost every day, and then the winter we'd get like 4 feet of snow.
Jeez.
Um,
I live in
yeah, it
Louisiana. I don't know
was.
what snow is. I just know what humidity is. I step outside and
Yeah,
I start sweating.
and then whenever we'd go visit now, like ever, like with all the fires, like we're just like, oh, there was a forest here, and now it's all dead grass.
And the fact that they have empty reservoirs that they were supposed to fill ages ago. It's like, "Oh, you have everything necessary to not burn down, but you're still burning down. What's up with that?"
Yeah,
And
what's
then
going on, guys?
yeah, and then the taxes are just insane. Uh it's wild every time I hear something's going on. It's not like you hear Florida Man and you're almost like rooting the moment you hear a Florida Man story. You're like, "Yeah, go Florida Man." You hear somebody from California and you're like, "What did they go to jail for?" You know?
Yeah,
It's like
it's so
something happened in
crazy. It's
California. Oh, really? Who was it? What level
it's
of penitentiary?
it's like what you said too. Like it's always like people are always like from there or there. Like it's California. It's always California and Florida. Like I'll get excited because I'm like, you have the same time zone as me. Where are you? Don't say California. And they're like, California. I'm like, you are not. You're not near me, bro. Or they're
It's
like,
so
yeah, I'm in Florida. It's 10 p.m. even though it's 7 for you.
tragic. The oh, what was it? Sorry, my cat is bothering me, so I got sidetracked for a
I
second there.
understand. I have a cat too.
Yeah, I have two of them. I got one that's sleeping over
Oh,
here, and this one who's wanting attention now. I'm afraid because he's really picky, so I'm afraid if I like move him towards the camera that he'll want to leave, but at the same time he like wants all the scritches.
yeah,
So he
cats
like
are
comes and
like
sits.
that.
Let me
My
see.
cat
He'll
likes
probably
to sit
complain.
on my lap.
This is him.
Oh, so cute.
I thought he was
I
gonna
think I
look up at the
saw
screen.
the tabby one in your video with Jin.
Yeah, he's over there. He's the one sleeping.
Oh,
So
so cute.
he's much more aggressive. This one like sitting on the side. I have a chair that you can like put the armrests down and it turns into an extension of the chair, which is pretty cool whenever you don't want to get up from here but you want to take a nap, you just put both of the armrests down and lay lay
That's
across it,
so
which sounds
cool.
terrible. It is really cool. I backed it on Indiegogo ages ago. Um, and so the backrest actually isn't really that comfortable, but my cats come and sit in the fold of the armrest whenever I lay it down. So I can't get rid of it and put a new chair here because then there wouldn't be a place for them to sit and they'd complain at me.
Yeah, my cat has destroyed my chair.
Oh no.
Whenever she's upset at me, she will take it out on me. She's like a very like anxious cat.
Mm.
So like if I'm playing games and I'm talking too loud, she'll scratch the back of my chair, and having this chair for only half a year, it's the back is just completely destroyed.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, and
My cats just run away from everything. I've had cats my entire life and I've never had cats who were afraid of anything until these two cats. The rest of them were just like all vibes the entire way down. And now if they hear something in the driveway, they go and hide, and I don't even know where they hide. They're just gone.
that's how my cat is. My cat like is afraid of anything she doesn't know, and then my rabbit is like curious of things even though like 90% of things are probably going to hurt her.
That's how it be. That's how it be.
Yeah.
Rabbits and chickens don't really have survival instincts. They just have instincts, and that's why they're great meals.
I
I will eat any rabbit and any chicken any day.
think my rabbit would disagree. She's quite rude, despite
Oh
being so
really?
curious. Yeah, like she's not too rude to me, but when we first got her after I had bonded with her a bit, she would let me pet her sometimes. But when my mom would try to pet her, she would physically turn her back to my mother, like to show that she
Wow.
is angry. And I was like, maybe she wants you to pet her back. And my mom looked it up and she's like, no, that they just do that when they really don't like you. I was like, oh,
I'd still pet it anyways. Be like, too bad. You're
yeah.
fluffy and I want scritches. Does the bunny like run away whenever she tries to touch her, or does it just turn the back?
Um, she turns her back, but if you like, sometimes if she'll tolerate it if you pet her, but then sometimes she'll like squish herself down so she can like squeeze out from under your hand and like move.
It's like a cat whenever you start scratching its back and it just keeps getting lower, and so you keep having to move your hand down until it's
Yeah.
like doing this weird like crawl away thing. The
Yeah.
tabby cat will do that over there. So the one I just showed you is Tuppence, and the other one is called Mel. And so
Oh.
Mel, whenever he doesn't want to be pet, just immediately his back legs go out. So he's like trying to slide away with his two front legs as his back legs just like spread across the floor trying to get away. It looks absolutely ridiculous. And it's just like, just let me pet
So
you.
funny.
Like, why are you running away? You're the one that ran into my thigh, you know?
Yeah, my cat, she adores attention, but if there's like I don't even get the chance. Like if someone new she doesn't know is in the house, and I try to bring her out, she will just run away. Like,
Yep.
she is terrified.
Same for my
She has
cat.
social anxiety.
My family had one cat who we called him the dog cat because he would act like a dog. Even though he
Aw.
was never raised around dogs, he was only ever raised around other cats in his litter. But whenever people would come inside, he would come out from wherever he was to go see the new people and immediately like roll over so they could scratch his stomach. So everybody called him the
My,
dog cat.
that's so cute. My
Yeah, he
cat
was also
sometimes.
super annoying though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the older he got, the less other things he did, so the more he just wanted to pet you. And also, the less he thought about how far his claws were coming out. So just the older he
Oh.
got, the more claw you got. So he'd like get on
Oh.
top of you, and so you try and get like a thick blanket and put it over yourself so that he could knead the blanket. But he would always move his paws over the highest point of the blanket, so
Yeah,
you
my
couldn't
cat
escape
does.
his claws because he wanted to be kneading you specifically. And so you just have to like
Oh.
throw him off and be like, get
Yeah,
away.
so when he's little, you're like, oh, it's so cute. And then he's old and you're just bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, it's essentially what it turned into. So it was like, ah. But he he was old, he had a long life, and he passed on of natural causes. He was a good cat.
Oh.
One that my sister got. He was super annoying for the first 2 weeks that we had him, though, because we took him from his family, and then he was just loud. He
Where's
wanted you
my
to know.
mother?
That's exactly what was going on. And then finally he, adjusted to everything, and he was always at somebody's side trying to get pets. So it was like, nice.
Oh.
This is good cat. However, he still wasn't the best cat we ever had, because the best cat we ever had just naturally listened to commands. So it would walk into the room that you were in, and it would sit in the middle of the room. And if you patted somewhere, he would get up and then go and sit where you patted. He just
That's
did
so
that
cute.
naturally. So if you wanted him to sit beside you, you just tap beside you, and then he would come and he'd sit beside you, and you could pet him. If you wanted him to sit on your lap, you would just tap your lap, and then he would go and he'd sit on your lap. Just but he would never like directly come to you. He would go to the center of the room and wait for you to call him to you, and
That's
that's
so
exactly what you want out of a
cute.
cat.
I can kind of do that pat thing with my cat, though my cat, like my rabbit, is a little rude. So sometimes I'll pat and she'll come over, but other times she'll just look at me and wait for me to go to her. I'm like, dude, this isn't the dynamic. You're the pet.
You're the
I
pet.
am the owner.
I know. Oh, it's like why do you have your own independent personality? Like just obey.
Yeah.
It's like you aren't sentient. This isn't how this works.
Why are you looking at me like that? And then you try to walk over and pet them and they start leading you to their area where they in the room they want to be pet in, even
Mm-hmm.
though you were in a room where everything was fine.
My least favorite is that I give them like soft food as a dessert. Um, but they didn't realize that the soft food was for dessert. And so if there's not soft food out, they're upset. But also if there's soft food that's been out for like they never finished it, and so it's been like 4 hours later, they won't eat it. So you have to wait until they're
That's
both
disgusting.
inside at the same time to put the soft food out so that it'll actually be consumed. Otherwise, it'll just sit there, and then you have to go and throw it in the trash. And I'm like, but that each of them will independently come inside and then yell until you start following them, and then they'll go stand by the dish where I put the soft food in. And it's like, I'm not going to put it out while there's only one of you because you're not going to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they will
Cats are
also
so
eat some of the
picky.
soft food and then finish off their meal eating the hard food and leave the rest of the soft food. So I don't even know. I'm like, do you like this more or not? Because you will literally just you will eat both at different points for no reason.
Yeah, cats are just so strange. Like
I
they're hard to read.
the way I tell people, as I say, dogs are for people who need someone that's dependent on them. and cats are for people who are self-fulfilled because cats have more personality. They don't really care
Yeah.
about you, but they do really care about you, but they aren't going to care about you the way that a dog would because the dog's like, I need you to be there.
Yeah, cats. I don't know if this is real, but I saw something online where it's like cats um they see themselves as the owner and you as like their little follower. So they're not necessarily dependent on you like yeah, you got to feed them and do all the things, but you're still under their command.
Yeah, I've heard that they consider us kittens, is the
Yeah.
dynamic. So that's why they'll like go out and grab stuff and bring it inside. It's like, okay, here's your meal in return for getting me food, which I don't know if that's true at all. I think both of my cats consider me the head of the household because whenever I go to sleep, both of them come over to me, and so it's like if one of them's going to it's like they make requests of me, but at the same time they know the power dynamic and I'm at the top. And
Yeah.
so I think these cats in particular. Some other cats, I do think that they think they're in charge, but these two very much act like I'm the adult in the room, which I do appreciate. It feeds my ego.
I wish I could say the same about my cat. My cat treats my mother like the alpha, even though she doesn't live in the same apartment as me anymore. But with me, she's just like, pet me right now. Pet me, or else I'm gonna do something you're not gonna like. Dude,
See
what?
that glass over there? It's on the floor now.
It's oh, it's so much worse than that.
Oh, it
It's
is. Oh
so much
no.
worse. She will, if she's mad at me, it could be me leaving something on the ground,
Mm.
or especially if I have my bedroom door closed and I'm not in my room, she will pee on my bed.
Oh no, you don't have like a litter box?
I do. She just that's how she takes out her anger on me. She rage pees on my bed.
Dang. Is
Like
Amber Heard over there? Like, what's going on?
she does that. I can't. I've tried so hard to train it out of her and it doesn't work. She just like she'll be like, "Oh, I actually like you right now." And then the wind blows my door closed and she's like, "You did this.
You
So
did
you're going to get
this.
punished."
You're the all-knowing, all-powerful being at the center of the universe. How could you do this to me?
Yeah, and then I got to spend like a day like cleaning at my entire taking apart my bed and then cleaning it and then putting it back
Oh,
together.
that'd be so frustrating. No, my cats fortunately don't do that. The biggest thing that I'll have is if I have food on my desk, they will start walking on my keyboard to try and get to my
Oh.
food. And I'm like, I will try, I've even tried feeding them just before I grab my food, but that doesn't change anything. They will still eat their food to their fill and then come over to my desk and try and eat my food. I'm like, you literally
Yeah.
just ate. You just ate. Leave me alone. Same goes for like if I have water or milk. If I'm not paying attention, they will sneak up behind me on my desk and start drinking it. And I have to
That's
chase them
so
away.
sneaky.
I know. I'm like, this is so. It's so mean. Literally yesterday, this one right here that you saw earlier, I physically had to grab him and put him on the floor like 4 times, and then I just ate my dinner very fast and put it up because he was determined. He was so determined. I put him on the floor, boom, immediately. Put him back on the floor, and whenever I grab him, whenever he wants something, he just meows so loud. He's just like, ah, like no. So it's just like 4 times him yelling at me, and I was like, okay, can't be doing this.
Yeah. My cat, she used to go for my food when she was a kitten.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't anymore. Now she likes to go after the rabbit's hay, but it's not good for her. So I've gotta constantly make sure the floor is swept. She she's actually very afraid of the rabbit because she's a little blind. She's very nearsighted.
The
So she doesn't
rabbit or the
go
cat?
into yeah. So she doesn't like break in to get hay, but if there's hay on the ground near, she will eat it. I'm just like, you can't. You're gonna like throw up, dude. Stop.
Yeah, but see, it's gonna throw up on your bed and you'll clean it, so it's not really your problem.
She doesn't even throw up on my bed. She'll throw up on the ground. It's only the peeing.
Ugh, it is
Yeah,
exclusively retaliatory behavior then.
it is. She's so spiteful.
Dang, that's so mean. You should one of your crazy characters that you do should be based on your cat.
That'd be really funny.
What what is some like a movie or a book or a comic that just absolutely wrecked you in some way, shape, or form, where you're just like, whoa, this is powerful and I am changed because I interacted with this?
Oh, let me think. Like, what do you mean, like change? Like change, like my view of things?
Well, I'll use an example for myself. So, It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite film. And whenever I watch it, right, I see all the stuff that George Bailey goes through, and then how he comes to the realization of what actually matters. And so I still go back to that movie because I just, whenever I watch it, I feel transformed. As in, like, yeah, you know what? I should appreciate the things that I have in my life better. I should understand my place and try and do more to be a good person.
Hmm. Uh, so for me, uh, gosh, I feel like almost every like media that I've consumed, like characters that like in shows that have connected to, because I love story, I love characters, I make characters, and I feel like finding the character that I relate to and how they get over their problems can really help me get over my problems. Or if there's a character that I'm like, this character is so cool, I want to aspire to be like them. um I'd have to bring up Marcy Wu again from Amphibia. Um she lied to her friends about how they got into the frog world and stuff. She like pretended not to know like how they got there when they were all like separated and they got back together. And that lie ended up spiraling into something more. And growing up, I lied so much growing up. I gotta be
Oof.
so real. But I was a terrible liar because my mom would be like, did you eat candy? And I'll be like, no. And then there's a big fat smile on my face. And then I remember the one time I didn't smile. I got so excited about being able to keep a straight face that I outed myself anyway. I'm like, Mom, I lied to you.
I was successful. I did it. You did it. You believed me. You fool.
And yeah. And being a people pleaser, I I would lie sometimes just to so I wouldn't upset people, but that would just end up hurting them. Like instead of like being like, "Ah, oh, that sucks," it would turn into why? Like that's just not cool. And I feel like that happens with Marcy, and she learns she kind of learned the hard way that she should be more honest with her friends. Um and that really stuck with me, and I was like, you know, I've been trying to like preserve people's feelings, but sometimes like life has its rough points, and I don't think me like making up a lie to get out of a hangout is gonna hurt them that badly. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I one of the things that I tried thinking about. So some of the books, one of my favorite authors is Mark Twain, and he had a quote where he said, "The a liar has to remember a lot of things, and an honest person doesn't have to remember anything."
Yeah.
And that stuck with me, uh, because, like I said, you'd get trapped in making more elaborate lies over and over again, so it just caused more problems. And one of the things that I thought I'm known for being quite blunt with my in my little friend group to the point where I when people first meet me, um, I can say something and they'll be like, "Whoa," because I'm just saying it. There's also a little bit of I don't realize that the thing would upset somebody. Like I told one of my friend's girlfriends the first time I saw her. I saw her and she looked like she would have been a character that Aardman modeled in Wallace and Gromit. Like I don't know why, but she just had these weird proportions that looked like, oh man, you look like you could be turned into a claymation character. And because I like all these things, right? So whenever I see
Yeah.
somebody, they remind me of these things. I'm like, oh my goodness, you look like you could be turned into a character from Wallace and Gromit. So I didn't think anything of it. But then, she and other people were kind of like, oh no, what did you say? And I was like,
Did
oh
you
no,
say
I
that?
said something.
Like, but you didn't mean it in a mean way. You were just like excited because it was
Yeah,
something you liked.
but
You were
it's,
like, whoa, and they were like, oh.
yeah, so it was, it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, that was an accident. But one of the things I realized, because whenever I was younger, I used to get offended by everything. And I realized two things. I realized, one, I can't get offended by anything unless I allow myself to be offended. And so I was like, well, if I can only be offended by something by allowing myself to be offended by it, what if I just didn't allow myself to be offended anymore? And so then I've basically never taken anything to heart ever since then. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I just don't care about your opinion, right? So somebody tries to be mean
Yeah.
to me. It's like, okay, well, you might be telling the truth, but I just don't care, uh, which can annoy some people. But at the same time, I also realized whenever you get upset really easily, that's actually like a flaw of character, to where it is better for you and it is better for other people as well if you have the ability to have thick skin, because
Yeah.
then it's the people without thick skin who cause all the problems. They're the ones who are going to complain, they're the ones who are going to cry, they're the ones who are going to try and like stab you in the back and stuff. So it's better to have thick skin and not get offended than allow yourself to be offended. So that I was like, I'm just going to be honest, and I'm also going to have thick skin, and then I'm going to try and hopefully encourage other people to be more honest and have thick skin too, so that we can actually do things. Because if you're honest and you're also kind, um, you can actually help people become better people, because you can point out the flaws and you can also be like,
Yeah.
but point it out in a kind way so that they want to change and know that you aren't
Yeah.
pointing out a flaw because you hate them. Because a lot of people, I don't know if it was like family dynamics or friends that they used to have. A lot of people will take it to where like if you say something negative about them, it's because you hate them. And it's like, no, I'm saying something negative about you because it's a negative trait, and you actually don't have to be that way. You can be a better
Yeah.
person. But it takes a. But I found out that you have to be nicer than I am to get people to want to change whenever you tell them about these things.
Yeah. You can't be too nice though, because if you're too
No.
nice, then you start becoming a little lenient and you're like, you could change next week. You don't have to change right now.
Yeah, well, you get too nice, you get into the territory of lying again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, no, no, it's something that I thought about, but it's not actually an issue, and then you make them feel good about having a negative character trait to the point where it becomes a problem, and they think it's okay that they have that trait.
Yeah.
So that's why, for me, it's like I always wish that I had somebody in my life who could better judge how to approach things or be my translator. So I could just say whatever I wanted, and then they could just like translate more kindly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing that my mom and dad had, where my dad would always say something, and he also doesn't sugarcoat anything. and then my mom would just be like, "Yeah, so he means this." So everybody'd be like, "Whoa," and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, I get it now," because
Yeah.
he also didn't like reading, and so he just had a smaller vocabulary to go off of, anyways.
Mm.
But because him and my mom, been married for so long, she's like, "Oh no, I know what he's talking about."
Yeah.
Because he'll
My
also say
mom's always.
things. Sorry, go.
No, no, you keep going. You keep going. I can.
Oh, I was going to say, well, because she has the context for what he's referencing that
Yeah.
other people don't have. So she can bridge the gap of what he's trying to say, which is
Yeah.
something that also I need help with too, because I've like, I meet people who say they like reading books, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, what if my people? And then I'll bring up a book that I think is kind of like an average book that most people who like reading would have read, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, like this book. Like, what do you mean you don't know about this
Yeah.
book? And then I find out that they're avid readers and they read like Wattpad and fandom stuff, and they've never read like a classic novel. And it's like, oh, because whenever I'm thinking classic novel, I mean, I got The Count of Monte Cristo, and I've read that, and that's a humongous novel. Same goes for Les Mis. But at the same time, you have something like Huckleberry Finn, and that's just a normal sized book, and they'll like not have read that, and like, but that's like such a standard intro to classic novels, including American literature.
Yeah. That's how I feel like talking with my mom. I'll be like, oh, like when I did start like collecting comic books and stuff, she was like, "You like reading now?" And my mom's such a huge reader, so she
Mm-hmm.
starts like bringing me these big books, and I'm like, not these ones, not these ones."
I like words, but I like them associated with pictures too.
Yes. Also, like my oh my god, my mom has like basically a whole library in her apartment. Like she's got so many books. I'm just like, dude, I don't even think I've seen this many books unless I go to a public library.
And you're
And
like,
she's like,
mother,
"Oh yeah, I
how
have
many of
all
these have
these."
you read versus bought?
Yeah, for my mom, it's like, "Oh, I've read all of these, and then I plan to read this one, and then next is this one." She's like, my mom loves reading. So yeah.
What books does she read? Is it like actual classics, or is it just kind of like the modern stuff?
I feel like she reads a lot of classics. I don't know about her view right now. I know she used to read a lot of Stephen King.
He was pretty popular. I've never read any of his stuff though.
Yeah. Mm. But for like the blunt and kindness thing, I feel like my mom's like in the middle because my mom, she can be very blunt. She she's not a very like outgoing person, but her job requires her to be outgoing. So she can be blunt, but she's like what you said, she's got a good vocabulary because she spent her entire childhood and she spent her whole life reading. So she knows like how to put things more kindly and how to be like very blunt, and it's really funny because it that's made my friends like her. So as like if one
She
parent's
can
driving us
roast people
somewhere,
like nobody else.
yeah, if one person's parents bringing us somewhere, we're like, okay, we'll see you at this time. But when it's my mom, they're like, do you want to come with us? My mom's like, damn it, fine.
You're like, it's my mom. It's awkward for me, and everybody's like, yeah, but your mom's cool. Like, yeah, but like the same reason you don't want your parents here is the same reason I don't want my mom here.
It's so funny. Same friend who came up with my name,
Uh,
she calls my mother not my mother. So whenever she
no.
addresses my mom, she goes, not my mother.
Does
So
your mom
funny.
like that? She's like, yes, this is
Yes.
correct. Be like,
And
other
I
mother.
call her mom not my mother too.
That sounds like a best friend kind of deal, where it's like, we're basically sisters, but we're not technically sisters. Or
Yeah,
the
we've known each other for a couple of years. We're pretty close.
the uh, the saying is, brother from another mother or sister from another mister.
Yeah.
That's always it's always a fun one. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you feel is important to talk about? Or that you would want to talk about? Maybe not important. Important might be too strong of a word.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Jin's animation, because I just realized like we've been talking about so much. I feel like we haven't gotten to talk about like, I mean maybe I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk about Jin's animation.
I'm
What
not
about it
very.
fascinates you? Like, how many times have you watched it since it came out?
I've probably watched it like 10 times. Jin has like an amazing art style, and I love the colors and composition. And it's like I didn't think like I said like way earlier, I didn't think that it was all handmade. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was like done in Blender. And then like when it came out, I was like, "Oh, Jin has Instagram." And I checked and I just saw like him posting the process, and I was horrified. I was like, "Why would someone do this to themselves?" But at the same time, I was like, "This is like so amazing what people can do."
Mm. Did you know that he started off doing stop motion Lego videos?
I did a little bit. I checked his profile on Casting Call, and I found his like an old channel, like, and I was like, oh, stop motion Lego, that's cool. Like, I assumed he was like branching out into digital animation, but
Nope.
it's a lot closer to the original.
He said that he spent 6 months making that.
Yeah, he said that. I remember he mentioned in his process of making it that it took like a month just to get everything like cut out.
Yeah,
It's
there's
like I said,
so much stuff.
horrifying but amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like if I had disposable income, I would hire other people to make this for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to do any of that work, but I really want someone else to do it for me.
Yeah. For
So I've
me,
always been
like,
upset that I'm not rich.
yeah, I can like draw digitally. I do that a lot. Like, I made my profile picture, but
Yay.
I I I have really shaky hands.
Mm.
So I feel like the whole process of like cutting everything out, I'd mess up, or like if I want a slight movement on a puppet, I'd move it too far, and then I'd be like, oh, crap, I can't now. Now it looks weird if I like try to get it close, but it's not on the spot that I wanted it.
Is aiming difficult in video games?
Yeah, it's difficult.
I've got him
Like
right in my sights. Hand just twitches. I'm like, no.
yeah, sometimes like during streams, like I don't know why my hands are just shaky, and sometimes like my hand will just jerk,
Mm-hmm.
and people be like, "What was that?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what that was." They're like, "Control yourself," and I'm like, "I'm trying."
I am controlling myself, but something else is controlling my hands.
Yes.
uh, for Jin's thing, like, did you talk to any of the other actors or voice actors from it?
I didn't actually. This is like the first project where I only communicated through like DMs.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a little intimidated though, because at the time I had a really bad microphone. Like
Oh,
it was
okay.
just like this $40 microphone I got on Amazon. It worked, but it like would it just had it had a bunch of issues, and
Was it a Blue
I was like,
Yeti?
I wonder. No, I don't even know what brand it was. It was some random Amazon $40 podcast mic.
Weird.
Um,
Okay.
and I was like, I should see like what other stuff the other voice actors have done. And I look, and like one of them's like doing whole like like posting song covers, and like
Mm-hmm.
does like streams too. I'm like, what? And then another one does like other videos with voice acting. I'm like, what? I'm just over here screaming into
They're
my microphone.
professionals. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, cause like I mean I record song covers too, but I don't post a lot of them.
Mhm.
I get too scared too. I'm just here streaming, like screaming into my microphone at games, and they're doing like amazing work already. I'm like, oh, I felt a little intimidated, but I
Yeah,
also felt like honored that I got to work with amazing people.
the the intimidation thing, uh, going back to the environment I want to create, that's kind of what I'm talking about with trying to get more people to create things. Is that a lot of people seem intimidated,
Yeah.
um, and like again going back with the introduction of AI, one is like, will it remove jobs? Probably. I think what it's going to do is it's going to remove the middle block of creatives who aren't putting in the time and effort as the people at the top already are, because I don't see them getting replaced. Um, so I think it just will make a giant wedge between the people who are already at the top, and it will just force the people who want to also be the ones at the top to work harder than they probably would have previously had to work
Yeah.
to get there. But for a lot of people, um, and you'll probably understand what I'm saying. Whenever you're creating something, there's a part of you, because, and I think it's because of social media. You might have a different reason for it, but I think a part of it's because of social media, where you almost feel like anything you create, you have to put out there with the intention of having success.
Mm.
So instead of creating just for fun, you feel like you have to create to perform.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, cause for I blame my social media for a lot of things, but
Yes.
uh, that's definitely something you could put on social media because, like, for a lot of things, like, some things just don't interest some people. Um, and it's, I don't know if I want to call it a chance. I can't think of another word. But there's always that chance where you, like, this thing blows up and you're like, I want to do that too, but with my own thing, and you don't really get that chance. So you've got those few people who are interested, but they're like, it's just not like what the thing, like the OG was, and so you just try to do stuff that you don't like, but you feel like others would like. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I don't know if I worded
It
that weirdly.
uh you know, getting it out is the most important part. The translating it is
Yeah, I
I get you, even if I can't put it into words back.
yeah, I'm not good at communicating very well, even if I put
You should grab the
excelling at
books that your
English.
mom keeps suggesting to you. She'd probably be excited. You're
True,
like,
true.
mother, I need which books will teach me how to speak best, and then she just hands you a pack of books, and then you
Yes,
actually have
yes.
to read them. I have my friends, their daughter. She like refuses to read, and so I keep like challenging her because she's kind of competitive, and so I keep like one upping her on other things, and I'm like, well, you just got to read. And she's like, ah. So, but I think she's finally going to read the first book that I got her, or the
Ooh.
second. It's the second one that I got her, but it's the first one that I think she'll actually read because I handed her Anne of Green Gables, but Anne of Green Gables is like, is a smaller book for its time, but it's a larger book for modern people.
Mm.
So I got her an even smaller book. I got her a children's book, but not like a get a mouse a cookie. It's more like a rolled doll style. It's the Iron
Mm.
Man by Ted Hughes, because it's six chapters. The book is essentially a square. It has illustrations, and it also has maybe like 25 words per page. So it's like 110 pages, but it's actually like 30 pages total.
Yeah.
So it's like it's actually in your wheelhouse. You can manage this one. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
Uh, I made her agree that if she refused to read it, that she had to give me $20. So I'm hoping that the cash
Ooh.
incentive will make her actually sit down and read it. That's where the
twenty
competitive angle
dollars.
comes in.
That's gonna. I think she's got to read that book.
She's got to read the book. Her parents always tell her that like we're not actually enforcing anything, but I think it's like a mark of pride that if she doesn't do it, she'll be upset that she owes me. Not that she ever
Yeah.
has to pay it, but that she'll like know that even though she hasn't paid it, technically she owes me.
Yeah, and if she doesn't read it, like, you could just keep reminding her for years. Be like,
Oh, I will
hey, where's
forever.
that $20?
Where's the $20? Or you could just read the book. Uh,
Yeah.
Whenever from any of the projects that you've done, do you try and reach out to other people that you work on this stuff with?
uh, so far, only like a little bit. I'll like, well, sometimes people will like just be having a normal discussion in the channels, and I'll lurk. I'll like watch, and if something is like said that I can like also contribute to the conversation, I'll be like, "Hey guys, heard you were talking about this." Um, but yeah, it's I'm I'm a bit socially awkward, so I have trouble reaching out to people a lot. I do push myself too sometimes because I know I not everybody can come to me. It's not like that. But yeah, there have been times where I have reached out to other people.
Yeah, the what I tell people, like the difference between it's like multiple people are going to have the same desire, and the sole difference between the person who achieves it and the person who doesn't achieve it is the fact that one of you actually did it.
Yeah, one of you is putting in the effort to do it while the other is yearning.
And so it's like I have the yearn, and I yearned for a very long time, and I was like, I actually have to put the effort in, don't I? So then I started putting the effort in. Um,
That's how I felt about streaming and voice acting.
yeah, it's like I actually had to go out there and do it. I actually have on a different, not the casting call website, but I like just sat down and made a profile on a voice thing because I was like, I'm already doing audiobooks and I don't really want to be at the job I'm currently at. So I wonder if I could make a resume and just be like, I read audiobooks or I can read instruction manuals for you or something. Just to start. I don't know how good I'd be at actually doing characters and stuff like that. I guess there's always starting. I've always had people say that they liked my voice, so I was like, I figure there's something there, right?
Yeah, you've got a nice voice. I could imagine you're like in an employee introduction video, like you're the one in like a
Yeah,
on a tape, like being like, "Welcome to so and so Corp," and stuff like that.
that'd be that's what I imagine it would be. The other thing, I have some stage work that I used to do, so I find that whenever I'm like trying to say something, I want to go like Shakespearean in how I sound. And like I like have not been able to break that. So most things it's like you need to sound normal, but whenever I'm wanting to get into trying to emote, I like immediately start going into Hamlet mode, you know? And I'm like, but this is not what people are looking for unless I'm doing a dramatic reading of Shakespeare. And
Yeah.
I like psych myself out by thinking of those things. But that's also one of the things where it's like, but you just full send anyways because maybe there is somebody who wants that, right? It's like maybe there is
Yeah.
somebody who actually wants that. And one of the ideas I've had for myself, I haven't done it yet because I this past month has been kind of crazy for work for me. Um,
Mm.
do you get to stream full time or do you also have to have a job?
Um, I am very lucky. My mom is letting me take a gap year.
Oh, nice.
Um, so I've been
Gotta
taking
pump those
classes.
numbers up so that you can.
Yeah, I've been streaming. I've been taking like all sorts of classes. I've taken art classes. I took a on-camera acting class. But I do plan on getting a job by the end of the year.
That's fun. Best of luck. The job market kind of sucks.
It
I've put out so
does.
many
It's very shitty.
applications. Uh, the number one thing I would suggest for you find a job with a consistent schedule because my job doesn't
Yeah.
have a consistent schedule. So, like this month, I have been told for 3 weeks in a row that I am traveling for a week.
Oh,
And then I have been prepping every single week for that travel trip. And then they keep canceling it and moving it to the next week. So I told that it officially Monday is whenever I go up. But at the same time, you know, it's like I'm trying to schedule more interviews and I'm trying to record more books and I'm editing them. is the whole other part because I can't bring my desktop with me and I don't have a laptop. So having an inconsistent job is really frustrating whenever you're trying to create things. So try and find a
Yeah.
job that's got a consistent schedule because then you can actually tell your everybody on who is your fan like, hey, I'm gonna be here on these times and I know that for a fact. So you don't have to
Yeah,
worry about all that.
I was actually talking about that with one of my mods this morning, because I do not have a consistent schedule because I have a lot of free time, so
Mm-hmm.
my mom will like just plan stuff. She'll be like, "We're doing this day," and I'll be like, "Crap, okay, I can't stream that day," and then some other stuff will come up, so I'll be like, "Okay, I can stream this day, this day, this day," and then I can plan next week when my mom tells me what we're doing. But yeah, I feel like with a consistent job, I feel like having a set schedule will definitely help my viewership and such.
It will help dramatically, which is why I would want to do like my little solo stream where I'm reading. I want it to be consistent on when it occurs, so that people can come to it regularly. That's just kind of like a pro tip that everybody I've ever watched has said. They're like, if you want to be successful, you want a consistent schedule. And that's why I was like, okay, well, I want to try and make a consistent schedule. But also, if you are treating streaming as a job, even if it's not a job, right? Is like treat it as a job anyways.
Yeah.
Because if you have that consistent schedule, it'll also give you a reason to say no whenever somebody requests something of you. You can be like, well, I have this commitment. I've been following through with my schedule for this for like a year, and I do not want to break that because I'm treating it as a job.
Yeah.
So it helps, and it also helps with the people who want to be there watching you. They can then also adjust their schedules depending on whenever you do things, because it might be that a lot of the people that are watching you, the lurkers, right, are doing like what I do whenever I'm watching somebody stream. I'm always doing something else,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't not harm whatever I'm already going to be doing for you to have a consistent schedule. It would only make it easier for me to have a more steady schedule for myself, to where it's like, oh, I'm just going to do art and listen to her. And so I know every single night she's going to stream here. And so I'm going to do art on those nights while I listen.
Yeah.
So having a schedule, highly suggest.
Yes. I do plan on making one. I need to make one desperately.
I think first how many times a week you want to stream. That's probably the first thing you need to think about.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to get burnt out. If you get burnt out, then you stop entirely and then you lose everything that you had.
Yeah, and then streaming just becomes like a chore.
Yes, it's like I don't want it to become a chore, and that's why a schedule is important, because it doesn't become a chore at that point. You know that there are times where you can turn off and just recuperate. I should use my own advice at some point. I'm really good at it.
You have a lot of amazing ideas in your head.
Yes, I have incredibly amazing ideas that other people need to implement in their lives.
Yes.
It's kind of like the meme of that one single friend who has all the best relationship advice.
Yeah.
So that's how I like to view myself. Um, oh snap. Oh, for Jen's art, right? So
Yeah.
we can wrap up that conversation. I also like Jen's art because you know what's kind of hard to find in the art world is art that looks nice. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of art that you can find online and that gets popular is very dark and gritty. And so it's like, oh, his is like not that.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's I follow like a variety of artists. Like they all like draw pretty
Mhm.
different. I don't think I'm following anyone who draws like Jin though, and Jin's art style is like so unique, and that's what also brought me to it. That's what made me click the casting call.
Yeah, I think like a maybe not a mood board, but just like having that concept art is something that I always think is an incredible thing to have as a creative, And that's why it's
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I could draw because then I could use the things in my head to communicate with people in a way that they can understand. Because I find that, you know, I have loads of words that I can say to describe what I want, but most people don't have the ability to generate images in their head. So having an image that they can reference helps a lot.
Yeah.
And so for Jin, that's I think to his advantage. And for like the world that he's creating, he said he's been thinking about that world for like 16 years. Is about how long that story that he just made the concept for has been running in his mind. Um, so I think one of the things that's gonna work really well for his series ongoing, which by the way, if you didn't know, he said he plans on making it a series and
Yeah, we talked
continuing
about it
it.
actually a little bit.
Yeah, so you might have some future work already lined up, you know? Keep on that. Uh,
Yeah.
but his world, it's kind of like Star Wars. It's already lived in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're coming into this world where everything's like new and shiny, which is what a lot of things are. It's like this world is already on the back end of its existence, and so their story is already inside of a place that is lived in, which is one of the things that made Star Wars so interesting is that it has all of this incredible future technology, but then you're looking at a starship that looks like it hasn't been cleaned in ages.
Yeah.
It's like everybody here is surrounded by all of these incredible inventions, and they're just like, "Ah, dang it, I have to go to Tashi to get some power converters." Right? It's just like he's talking about it like a car that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same vibe that Jin's little world has, to where it's like it has really vibrant colors, which are hard to come by now. It has very unique character designs, to where whenever I first saw his character designs, it kind of reminded me of like Fire Emblem characters. If you know the
Oh.
franchise.
I've seen it a little bit.
Yeah, so it looked like a weird pseudo blend of classic Fire Emblem character designs with the new Fire Emblem character color palettes.
Yeah.
So it had, what I thought was really strong designs in that way. Uh, and then the attention to detail from start to finish. He seems to actually have a really strong, well built world
Yeah.
already in his mind that he just hasn't created yet.
Yeah. I'm really excited. Like I've told him this so many times. I'm so excited to see like what else he creates for the world because of how interesting it is. Like there's so much that's there but we haven't seen it yet, but we know that it's there.
Hmm. I think he's gonna like turn it into a comic book to try and get people interested in it first as he continues to work on the animation, which I think is a good idea. I've seen
Yeah.
other things in the past do that. I mean, like any DC and Marvel property, really. It's like it started as a comic book, and then they just took all the best ideas from the comics and then put it in. So you can like put your proto story out, and then depending on the fan reaction or even your own reaction to what you've made, you can go and change and edit it and make it tighter for the next generation of it, which is the stop motion show. To which it'd be cool
Yeah.
if we end up getting him, if he ends up getting like an animated studio because it got so popular that crowdfunded or something.
Yeah, that would be really awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was talking to him about. Again, sorry, going back to my idea, I sent him a message and I was like, "Tell me every single pain point you have as an artist for getting things done." And so it was funny because he's like, well, for the most part, I brute forced it until I could do everything myself except for the voices. He's like, and then there's like the casting call website for the voices. I was like, okay. And so then he said the other thing that he had trouble with is he was like, well, I have international fans, but I don't have a way of getting any art to them, like any products. And so I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, here's all the ways that I know that you can make products. And so I don't know if he's implemented some of them yet, or if he even has the capacity to implement some of them. But whenever he looked at all the stuff, he was like, oh, there are a lot more options out there than I realized. I was like, yeah, there's a whole extra host of ways that you can get things done. I think the easiest one for him though is I told him I was like, find the largest thing that you make and find out how much international shipping is for that, and then just make that a flat rate shipping so you don't have to think about it. Just anything anybody orders is that price. So even if they order something that's a smaller print and you ship it out to them, that's just additional money for you, but nobody has to question how much it's actually going to cost at the end. It's just this is shipping cost if you're international, and this is the price of the commission.
Yeah.
Little things like that to help people. And I guess same question for you: are there any pain points in your little artistic journey that you can think of?
Um, Not really. I just kind of like cruise through things, and if like usually cruising help makes it so like if something does come up, it's not like catastrophic. It's just like, okay, how do I deal with this? Oh, okay, I got this.
Do you wish there were better resources so that you could learn the things that you're doing better? Like, or yeah, just better resources.
Um, Maybe. I feel like there's already some good resources out there. A lot of it, like streaming and voice acting and even like art, is kind of like an experience thing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
gotta experience to figure it out. Like oh, like this streamer does it like this. This streamer streams like this. Like, and that's really cool. I want to try it, but you don't like it. You don't have to force yourself to keep doing that. You can do it
Mm-hmm.
your way.
Yeah, I guess the thing that my mind was going to was how you're like, I don't know how to operate Twitch at all, right? So
Yeah.
if you had like a mentor or something whenever you're wanting to start, or it was it was a pool of other people who streamed that you had easy access to, so that you could not have to like completely do it on your own. Like as you're saying, it's just experience because at the end of the day, it is. I could tell you everything, but until you're implementing it, you won't get any better at it, and it won't become muscle memory. Um,
Yeah.
but just having like a community where you can be like, hey, I'm really struggling to get this thing done, or I don't understand it, and having people like who are also in the boat or have already done it who can be like, oh, I remember that, do this.
Yeah, I feel like what was wait, well, okay, I'm sorry. I've got like jumbled. I'm like trying to think. What was like what about that were you asking again?
If you had like a resource where it'd be easy to find that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Having like having that as a resource would be like amazing. I'm sure that like there are resources for some stuff out there to make it easier,
Yeah, one of the things
though. Yeah.
like for myself, it's like everything exists on YouTube, yes, but I'm watching a video, and if that person like skips a step or something, I don't know where I lost track with what they're doing, even if I rewatch the
Yeah.
video. And that's where it'd be nice if like a person could actually directly communicate with me, um,
Yeah.
or if there's just a better instruction manual than the most popular video. Because one of the things I've told people before, and I don't know if you've experienced this before, is I tell people I'm like the most popular video on YouTube for anything or any platform is not going to be the one that is actually the best at teaching you the thing. It's going to be the person who knows how to do that thing, who knows the algorithm the best. The
Yeah.
person who actually knows the thing the best is somebody who doesn't know the algorithm. So you have to like look for that person's content.
Yeah. Cuz like sometimes you'll find like a tutorial for something
Mm-hmm.
and something that seems so easy to you because you're the teacher, you might just like skim over it, but the person who's following the tutorial, like some people might be like, "Oh, okay. but others might be like, wait, what? What was that?
Yeah, I call it the 3 layers down, because
Mm.
if you look at somebody who's popular who's doing something, and then you ask them, okay, well, who was your mentor? Like, who did you learn everything from? They'll mention somebody that you probably don't know and who's less popular than they are. And so then you go to that person and you ask them, who was your mentor? And then, they'll be like, oh, well, this is who I learned all of my stuff from. And you find that person who mentored them and you ask them, this is the 3rd layer where you ask them, hey, who was your mentor? Because usually on that ladder, each of the mentors is less popular than the person that you previously asked, right?
Yeah.
And so you ask that third person who's less popular and you go, who was your mentor? And then that next person right there is the person who actually has the majority of the knowledge on how the thing works. But because the other people know how to be popular better, the person who actually has the most knowledge on a subject who doesn't know how to be popular is the one that actually has all the information for you. So I call it the 3 layers down, because you have to go through like 3 people to get to the 4th person who actually has the knowledge and can teach you in such a way that you will know more than if you just watched the most popular person. Because the most popular person has to focus on engagement, while the person who knows the most probably isn't thinking about engagement. They're just thinking about the thing. And that's why they're so good at it.
They're knowledgeable.
They have an incredibly large knowledge base. All right, so I'll loop back around once more. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, or do you think you've said your piece for the day?
I can't think of anything else to talk about.
Yep, I was like, I'm experiencing brain drain, and I can talk for a long time, so that's probably where other people are tapped out too. So far, I've been correct on it.
Yeah, I have so many ideas, but I'm a bad communicator. But I do listen.
Mm-hmm.
But with the bad communicating, it sounds like I'm not interested. I'm just like, uh-huh, uh-huh. I promise I'm listening intently.
You have no clue how many 40 ideas off of every single line that you said I got, but I'm currently 200 ideas deep now, and you're on the first one. I'm sorry. I'm paying attention, I promise.
You get it. It's that. It's literally that.
I know. It's the same. I'm going to use this as an example because you've probably experienced it playing with viewers. I have a friend, and both of us like to play strategy games and more along like real-time strategy games. And so I will tell him, hey, if you put a turret here, the enemy can't come in, nor can they take your resource point. And it will also deny them a resource point. So we're technically making twice as many resources as they are, so we'll be in the lead. And he would only hear the part where I said place a turret. So he would place a turret in the spot that prevented people from approaching us. So he's placing a turret, and he's putting it in what's technically not a bad spot. But the thing is, he's putting the turret in our base and not in their base.
Yeah.
So they get all of the additional resources, which means they get to level up and create better units than us. And it took so long saying the exact same thing over again until I finally just made him and me swap spaces on this map whenever we tried beating the AI again. And I put a turret where I was saying that he should put a turret, and then we just sweeped. And I was like, do you see now? Do you see?
Understand? Do you understand? You're shaking his shoulders.
Yes, that's essentially. But it's one of those communication things where it's like I don't think telling him to put a turret on somebody else's resource point so they can't access it is a difficult thing to understand. But at the same time, he just wouldn't do it. He kept saying it was a bad idea, and then I did it, and we won. And I was like, it was a bad idea, huh? Because we lost like 20 times. It took us a week to beat that AI. Because he kept taking that front point, because the characters he plays are technically supposed to be better at defense. And mine are better at amassing a horde. But I was like, just let me take that point, please. Uh, so in that same vein, right? It's like, oh, I have my brain is so fantastical. Whenever I meet people who don't have a fantastical brain, and I just try explaining a little bit of the fantastis, they just like they don't get it.
Yeah, I'll get like if I was in your position, oh, I'd feel so bad for whoever I'm playing with. I'll be like, no, you gotta put that thingy over there so we can get everything. Okay? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go. And they'll just be like, what?
It's like I don't understand what's difficult. It's like why didn't you think of it? It feels like it should have been understood from the beginning. You know?
Yeah.
It's yeah, and it's not even like you lack communicative skills either. It's like you don't want to say it, but you're like I'm. You might want to get checked. I think you might be a little retarded. I'm sorry, man. It's like you told me that you got bad grades in school. I'm starting to realize why. You know, I didn't want to say it, but
You might be a little special.
you know, whenever they moved you to that class and you're like, why is this kid eating crayons? But you were eating the glue? I don't think you should have been questioning why he was eating the crayons.
Yeah, you guys might be a little similar.
You know, y'all are such a good match. And it's okay. You don't play the games. Well, I play games to win because I always enjoy winning more than just playing the game, right?
Mm.
So, but most everybody else just plays a game to have fun. So it's not really a problem for them. But it's a problem for me because I have a personality issue and it's called I have to win.
Yeah.
Including team games like Helldivers. It shows you the stats at the end, and it shows you
Yeah.
like how many bullets shot, how accurate you were, and how many enemies you killed. And like I know it's a team game, but at the same time, if I don't have the highest percentage on everything, I feel like I failed. It's like we won. We've never lost a match. But I wasn't the biggest winner out of all of us on the team.
Second to last. Can we redo this part, guys?
Yeah. It's like, let's run it back. Let's run it back. But we just did it. No, you don't understand. But I didn't do it better than you. It's a self-defeating argument. All right, but thank you so much for talking. I hope that all of your tribe watches this and feels like they got to know you a little bit better, and that
Yeah, I
some new
will
people
share
find it.
this.
And
Yeah, I'm going to put this in my. I'm gonna be like, guys, watch this.
watch
Come on.
this. It's about me and make me feel special.
Yes, yes.
Glaze me in the comments. Just talk about how amazing I
Glaze
am.
me.
That'd be me. That's why I'm not in charge of anything, because I'd get too big of a head. I'm like, I should be in charge. You're right. I do a good job at this.
I feel like I'm too like fearful to become like that. Like I'll be like, I could do this. I could be all powerful, and then I'm like, people are gonna hate me. What if I do one thing wrong?
Yeah, but if I'm all
I-
powerful, I can just remove that guy. I'm like, oh no, how upsetting. Boom! All right. Anybody else have a problem with me? No? Okay, good.
Don't disagree with me, or you will be banned.
Yeah, essentially. It's like, I'm the king. You are one of my servants. I can hire and fire whoever I like. Goodbye now. And then all of my fans revolt, and I end up with nothing because I abused all of my power. This is like this is why I am humbly sitting over here.
The rise and the downfall.
The rise and the downfall, and it was all my own doing. I'm Icarus. Woo!
Literally.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was really fun. Thank you for letting me yap your ear off and listening to your amazing ideas.
Thank you. Thank you. Now you have to implement them. That's the last step.
Yes.
Talk to your mods. Talk to your mods. Talk to your mom. Tell everybody that you love them.